Chapter 1034. I've heard so much about you. Shang Wanshi smiled and said, "This is my boyfriend Zhuoling's. This is my childhood friend Wu Qinjun, and this is his cousin Zhou Anan." Wu Qinjun took the initiative to reach out his right hand. "Mr. Zhua, I have heard much about you." From a distance last time, Wu Qinjun thought Shang Wanzai's boyfriend wasn't much to look at, and now up close, he seemed even less impressive. Shang Wanzai's taste in men was questionable, to say the least. She actually liked this kind of pretty boy. "Hello." Zhuoling reached out to shake Wu Qinjun's hand. In the gaze that passed between Zhuoling and Wu Qinjun, Zhuoling knew that Wu Qinjun didn't come with good intentions. Perhaps he came because of Shang Wanshi. Right, Shang Wanshi was so beautiful. Who knows how many men outside coveted her. But even if Wu Qinjun liked Shang Wanshi, what of it? Wu Qinjun lived in a small villa, drove a compact car, and still lost to him. So what if you have money? With money, you still get stepped on beneath my feet. Zhuoling felt a full sense of superiority, reaching out to put his arm around Shang Wanzai's shoulder. "Xiaoxi, let's go inside. The movie is about to start." "Okay." Shang Wanshi turned her head to greet Wu Qinjun and Zhou Anan. "We'll go in first then." Zhou Anan nodded. "Okay, Sister Xiaoxi, you guys go ahead." Wu Qinjun's face remained expressionless, his eyes fixed on Zhuoling's hand resting on Shang Wanzai's shoulder. He wanted to chop off Zhuoling's hand with an axe. Brother. Zhou Anan nudged Wu Qinjun. "They're already far away." "Damn." Wu Qinjun threw away the drink bottle in his hand, heart filled with an indescribable frustration. "Brother, do you like Sister Xiaoxi?" Zhou Anan asked tentatively. Wu Qinjun had been abroad for 3 years and only recently came back. During this time, his family had introduced him to many girls, but Wu Qinjun wasn't interested in any of them. Could it be that Wu Qinjun fancied Shang Wanshi? Zhou Anan swallowed hard. "Brother, you don't really like Sister Xiaoxi, do you?" Wu Qinjun didn't speak. Zhou Anan continued. "Brother, does Sister Xiaoxi know that you like her? I think her boyfriend isn't even half as handsome as you. Sister Xiaoxi's taste is really poor, if I were her." Wu Qinjun looked at Zhou Anan and cut her off directly. "Go watch the movie yourself. I have something to do. I'm leaving first." With that, Wu Qinjun turned and walked away. Zhou Anan couldn't even catch up. After the movie ended, it was already past 6 in the evening. At 6 in the winter, it was already very dark. Zhuoling escorted Shang Wanshi to the bus station. The bus came every half hour, and when they arrived, the latest bus had just left. Zhuoling looked around and then said, "Xiaoxi, wait here for me for a moment." Shang Wanshi nodded. It was quite a while before Zhuoling reappeared in front of Shang Wanshi. Unexpectedly, to Shang Wanshi, Zhuoling was on one knee in front of her. "What are you doing?" Shang Wanshi was startled. Several passengers waiting for the bus also seemed surprised. Zhuoling looked at Shang Wanshi very earnestly. "Xiaoxi, will you marry me?" "What? A marriage proposal?" Shang Wanshi covered her mouth, completely astonished. Zhuoling took out a ring from his pocket. "Xiaoxi, today is the 1198th day since we met, and also 3 years and 1 month. The great man once said, 'Any romance not aimed at marriage is frivolous.' I'm an honest man, not good at sweet talk, and because of my limited ability, I couldn't even prepare a decent ring for you. But I know that you are not a vain girl. This ring, although it's neither gold nor silver, represents my sincere heart. I love you. Shang Wanshi, please give me the chance to take care of you." Ever since meeting Wu Qinjun, Zhuoling always felt a sense of crisis. He was afraid Shang Wanshi would fall for someone else, as people tend to change. Who knows what Shang Wanshi would be like in the future? The most important thing was that Wu Qinjun was richer than him. So, the best solution now was to make Shang Wanshi a member of the Zhua family quickly. Once Shang Wanshi became part of the Zhua family, she wouldn't dare to entertain any whimsical thoughts. Zhuoling knew girls too well. Girls like Shang Wanshi loved to hear sweet nothings because they were so naive and simple. A few words from a man could easily make them head over heels. So what if there's no diamond ring? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1035. I've heard so much about you. Ni Tsuehua would marry Shangwan, she even without a diamond ring. Shangwan Shi, with slightly red eyes, looked at Zuoling and had to admit that she was moved by him. Zuoling, Xiaoxi, will you marry me, please? Zuoling continued. Although my salary is only a little over 100 yuan a month and I can't afford an expensive diamond ring, please believe me, one day I will bring the most gorgeous diamond ring in the world before you. Please marry me. Upon hearing this, the passengers waiting for the bus were all stunned. Goodness, this young man is really impressive. He earns 100 yuan a month, and he's so good to his girlfriend. Such good men are really rare these days. Marry him. Marry him. The onlookers began clapping their hands. This kind of atmosphere is the most misleading. Shangwan Shi reached out and took the ring made of wild grass, nodded with her eyes slightly red. Okay. This answer was what Zuoling had expected, but he still pretended to be surprised, lifting Shangwan Shi up and cheered. Thank you, Xiaoxi. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this chance. Being lifted up in front of everyone, Shangwan Shi was quite embarrassed. Put me down quickly. The bus is about to come. Zuoling put down Shangwan Shi. The bus arrived shortly after, and Zuoling got on with Shangwan Shi. Shangwan Shi reminded him, Zuoling, you got on the wrong bus. Your home is in the opposite direction. Zuoling smiled and said, It's okay, I'll take you home. Then how will you get back? Asked Shangwan Shi. Zuoling casually replied, They'll take the bus back later. Taking you home is the most important thing now. Shangwan Shi was very fortunate to have a boyfriend as good as Zuoling. Zuoling, thank you. Zuoling smiled and said, We'll be family soon. You don't need to thank me. Shangwan Shi shyly lowered her head. Zuoling continued, Xiaoxi, when do you plan to marry me? He had already planned that after Shangwan Shi married him, he would have her quit her job at the factory, stay at home with peace of mind, tending the house and looking after the elders. After all, Shangwan Shi didn't make much money a month anyway. With Shangwan Shi around, there would be no need to hire a nanny, saving some nanny expenses as well. Shangwan Shi was so beautiful. She could hold her own in gatherings outside and serve as a nanny at home, and could have sons to continue the family line. Such a good wife was hard to find. He was really capable. He had wooed Shangwan Shi with just a grass-made ring. Could any other man do that? Zuoling felt more self-satisfied, and his smile widened. Shangwan Shi curiously said, What are you smiling about? Zuoling put his arm around Shangwan Zai's shoulders. I'm just feeling secretly happy. Secretly happy? Shangwan Shi was slow to catch on. Zuoling continued, To be able to marry such a gentle, kind, beautiful, and generous wife, how could I not feel secretly happy? At these words, Shangwan Shi became even more embarrassed. Was she really that excellent in Zuoling's eyes? Zuoling added, Xiaoxi, when exactly do you plan to marry me? Shangwan Shi blushed and said, It's not just up to me. I need to go back and ask for my parents' opinions to see what they say. Zuoling nodded. Uncle has brought you up, so it's indeed important to ask his opinion. As for your aunt's opinion, you can either take it or leave it. After all, you have no blood relation with her, and she wasn't the one who raised you when you were little. That's not how you should speak. My mom is a very nice person. She cares a lot about me. Shangwan Shi was not the type of ungrateful person. Her relationship with Ni Tsuehua wasn't something that anyone could easily stir up with a few words. Zuoling was a smart man. He knew he should play along with Shangwan Shi at this moment and not contradict her. Xiaoxi, I must have accrued good fortune in my previous life to be able to marry such an outstanding, kind-hearted girl like you this lifetime. Right now, to him, Shangwan Shi was more important than anything else. After getting married, he would be able to turn himself around and be the master. He wasn't afraid Shangwan Shi would divorce him. Given Shangwan Zai's standards, she couldn't find a better man than him. Even if Wu Chunjun was interested in Shangwan Shi, what could that do? Could Wu Chunjun accept a woman who had been with someone else, a second-hand one? He figured Shangwan Shi wouldn't have the guts to divorce him. Shangwan Shi couldn't read minds, nor did she know what Zuoling was thinking, simply taking Zhuo Ling's words for heartfelt sincerity. Zhuo Ling, don't say that. I have many flaws too. Zhuo Ling said, it doesn't matter. I can accept all of your flaws. After a while, the car reached its station. Zhuo Ling dropped Shangguan Shi off at the entrance of the village before taking the bus back. When he arrived home, Zhuo Ling told his parents about his proposal. Hearing this, his mother, agitated, stood up and slammed the table. No way. I don't agree. You have to agree, because I already proposed. Xiaoxi has even accepted. Zhuo Ling said. His mother, overwhelmed with anger and her heart pounding violently, said, foolish. Ling Ling, you're so foolish. That Shangguan, she has neither looks nor family background. She is not worthy of you. Her son was a dragon among men. In ancient times, he could have married a princess or become a son-in-law to the emperor. What was Shangguan Shi? She wasn't even comparable to a sparrow. Zhuo Ling firmly stated, I'm going to marry Xiaoxi no matter what. I like Xiaoxi. Although her family background isn't great, she's educated, good-looking, and presentable. Saying this, Zhuo Ling casually picked up a fruit knife and placed it against his neck. Mom and Dad, if you don't let me marry Xiaoxi today, it'll end my life. Seeing Zhuo Ling with the fruit knife terrified his parents. They knew Zhuo Ling was the Zhuo family's only bloodline, their lifeblood. Without Zhuo Ling, what will be the point of their existence? Ling Ling, calm down, don't hurt yourself, his mother said anxiously. Give a knife to Mom, quickly, be good, Ling. Zhuo Ling stepped back. Mom, don't come any closer. Unless you agree to let me marry Xiaoxi, he'll die right here, before your eyes. Zhuo Ling's father turned pale with fear. Ling, my heart's joy, please put the knife down. Given the situation, his mother had no choice but to nod in agreement. Fine, I agree. He'll agree. She had underestimated Shangguan Shi. She was a sly temptress. Look how she had bewitched her son. Such a person deserved no good end. In her mind, his mother cursed Shangguan Shi 1,000 times over. Zhuo Ling excitedly said, Mom, you really agree? Really? His mother continued nodding. When has Mom ever lied to you? Ling, please give the knife to Mom. The fruit knife was brand new, extremely sharp. If it accidentally hurt Zhuo Ling, that would be terrible. That wretch Shangguan, she would go to the 18th level of hell. Mom, you really aren't deceiving me? Zhuo Ling was somewhat incredulous. Ling, rest assured, Mom is not deceiving you, his mother said fervently. Zhuo Ling then said, Mom, then swear to me. If you're lying, your son should never have a good death. Hearing this, his mother's brow twitched. This silly child. To joke about his own life for a woman. Damn wretch. Sly temptress. You declare it, Zhuo Ling urged, implying strongly that if his mother didn't swear, he was ready to take his own life. Swear now. Zhuo Ling's father also urged his mother. Are you going to just watch Ling hurt himself? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1036. A saying comes true at this point. Mothers will grudgingly raise 3 fingers. Fine, I swear. Seeing his mother had sworn the oath, Zhuo Ling then handed the knife to her. Taking the fruit knife, Mother Zhuo felt a sigh of relief. Zhuo Ling continued, Mom, don't worry. Xiaoxi is a very good girl. She will take good care of you and Dad in the future. Mother Zhuo sighed. What's the use of being filial? She can't even give birth to a son. Our Zhuo family will be ruined by that woman. And who knows whether she's genuinely filial or just pretending. How filial can someone be who's bewitched her own son into threatening his parents with his life? Mother Zhuo was now seething with suppressed anger. Just wait. Once that little bitch Shangguan she marries into our family, shall see how we'll deal with her. Zhuo Ling said with a smile, Mom, don't worry. After we get married, they'll have Xiaoxi quit her job to take care of you two at home, and then we can have 2 children. I guarantee every single one of them will be a boy. You guarantee? Mother Zhuo looked at Zhuo Ling, trying to suppress the fury in her heart. You talk nicely, but what can you guarantee with? You must have been bewitched by that woman. It's not like you can just say it and it happens. People like Shangguan Shi, you can just tell she won't give birth to a son. Zhuo Ling said with a smile. Nowadays, with the advancement of science and technology, as long as one is 5 months pregnant, you can find out the gender of the baby. When Xiaoxi is pregnant, we'll go to the hospital to check. If it's a girl, we just abort it, right? In the 1980s, B-ultrasound was popular due to family planning reasons, and many families would go to unlicensed clinics to check the gender of the fetus during pregnancy. If it was a girl, they would abort it. If a boy, they would keep it. This laid a severe foreshadowing for the unbalanced gender ratio in later generations. Why would the dowry prices skyrocket in the future? Because there are fewer and fewer girls and more boys. Hearing this, Mothers' eyes lit up. Really? Zhuo Ling nodded. Would I lie to you? Mothers asked. How do you know this? Our co-worker Xiao-sun just ended up with a big fat boy. Didn't his wife first give birth to a little girl? I heard they aborted 5 times before finally having a boy. They had a son, but the daughter-in-law's health was destroyed. But compared to a son, what's a daughter-in-law worth? If a woman divorces, she won't have a good reputation, but if a man's wife dies, he can still remarry. Mothers was still a bit uneasy. Are you so certain that Shangguan, she will agree to the abortion? Zhuo Ling said with a smile. Once she's married into the Zhuo family, she'll belong to our household, and by then, she won't have a say in the matter. That's also true. Mothers nodded in satisfaction. As she finished speaking, Mothers continued. It's just that her family background is somewhat inferior. Honestly, I think Lai Bao is better. That kid Lai Bao. Mothers hadn't finished her sentence before Zhuo Ling interrupted her. Mom, please don't bring up that Chun Lai Bao again. Looking at someone like that just annoys me. I'm going back to my room to rest. Mothers watched Zhuo Ling's retreating back and sighed. All right. Don't be angry, Fathers said. I think Ling has gotten quite thinner these days. Don't we still have Bird's Nest at home? Go stew some to nourish him. Compared to getting angry, of course, their son's health was more important. Mothers hurried to the kitchen to stew Bird's Nest. At the Ni family. During dinner, Shangguan Shi announced to her family the news of Zhuo Ling's marriage proposal. Upon hearing this, there was a silence at the dinner table. Suihua looked at Shangguan Shi in surprise. Xiaoxi, you agreed? Shangguan Shi nodded. I think Zhuo Ling is a very good young man. So I agreed. She had not agreed to Zhuo Ling impulsively. She and Zhuo Ling had 3 years of emotional foundation, and now agreeing to the marriage proposal felt natural. And Yang looked up at Shangguan Shi. Sister Xiaoxi, with what did Zhuo Ling propose to you? And Yang was a bit afraid that Zhuo Ling had been a freeloader. Of course, a proposal can't be without a ring, Shangguan Shi replied. This answer was indeed beyond Yang's expectation. It seemed that Zhuo Ling's character wasn't as bad as she had imagined. At least he used a ring to propose. She was really afraid that Zhuo Ling couldn't escape the nature of scumbag and would resort to freeloading. What kind of ring is it? Show us. Old Lady Shangguan said somewhat discontentedly. Shangguan, she said with a smile, a very unique ring. Shangguan, she was not a materialistic girl to begin with, and she hadn't suffered when she was younger. She thought that the straw ring given by Zhuo Ling embodied the love mentioned in books. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1037. A saying comes true _2. Unique? This statement really whetted everyone's appetite. Shangguan Su looked at Shangguan Shi. Could it be a pigeon's egg? Bigger than the one Dad gave Mom? When Shangguan Hui proposed to Nai Suihua, he did by a sizable diamond ring. Shangguan, she said speechlessly, Brother, you're so tacky. As she finished speaking, Shangguan, she took out a ring woven from wild grass from her pocket. This is the engagement ring Zhuo Ling gave me. Upon seeing this, Shangguan Su almost spat out the soup he had just swallowed. A ring made of grass. No one expected Zhuo Ling's engagement ring to be a grass-woven ring. Even Yang was taken aback. She had thought that Zhuo Ling wasn't someone to bluff his way through, but it turned out he couldn't escape his scoundrel nature. Given Zhuoling's family background, even if he couldn't afford a pigeon's egg, he should have at least bought one made of gold. After all, Zhuoling was a minor official with a monthly salary of over 100 yuan. With the current cheap gold prices, 2 months' salary was enough to buy a very respectable gold ring. But Zhuoling didn't. This showed that Zhuoling didn't take Shangguan Shi to heart at all. He was deceiving Shangguan Shi. Perhaps he just wanted to trick her into his grasp. Such a trifle fooled you. Shangguan Su picked up the ring in Shangguan Zai's hand, his face filled with incredulous laughter. Shangguan, she seriously said, perhaps in your eyes, this is just worthless wild grass, but to me, it represents Zhuoling's true heart. His sincerity is priceless. Zhuoling's sincerity couldn't be measured with money. And Ai Yang nodded slightly. Yeah, true love is priceless. I agree with Sister Xiaoxi. Yang. And Cuihua looked at Ai Yang in surprise. Shangguan, she smiled and said, Yang, you understand me. Ai Yang held a high status in the family, and with her approval, Shangguan, she felt much more confident. But Sister Xiaoxi, the phrase true love is priceless also depends on the situation, Ai Yang continued. For instance, if someone comes from a poor background and has only 1 yuan but gives it all to you and would do anything for you, that is true love. But if someone obviously has 100 yuan and isn't even willing to give you one, that's not true love. That's just taking advantage of you. In Ai Yang's eyes, family background wasn't the issue. What mattered was character. As long as the Zhou family had good character and Zhuoling was truly sincere towards Shangguan Shi, everything else wasn't a problem. But now, Zhuoling was merely putting on an act for Shangguan Shi. Hearing this, Shangguan Shi was stunned. She had been immersed in love and had never considered this issue. Could it be that Zhuoling was really just acting? It surely wasn't. Shangguan Dehui nodded. I think Yang is right. Xiaoxi, it's clear from this proposal issue that Zhuoling is not sincere towards you. Old Lady Shangguan also nodded in agreement. I also think Yang is right. Zhuoling is just trying to take advantage of you, who uses a grass-woven ring for a proposal. You guys aren't playing house as kids. What era is this to use a blade of grass to take a wife? Even decades ago, this wasn't done. Old Lady Zheng added, Xiaoxi, you're not married yet, and Zhuoling is already daring to deceive you like this. What will happen after marriage? Will he still regard you as a person? Shangguan Shi fell silent, not saying a word. Shangguan Shi, snap out of it. Don't let love blind you. That pretty boy Zhuoling is not worthy of my sister. Shangguan Su flicked Shangguan Zai's forehead. Shangguan Zai's originally delightful mood was now washed away, leaving her somewhat depressed as she poked at the rice in her bowl. Saying less is more, as saying too much can backfire. Seeing Shangguan Shi like this, everyone else fell silent. It was just a precautionary shot for Shangguan Shi to brace herself mentally, so she wouldn't be overwhelmed by the truth when it came out. Meanwhile, at the Zhuo family's home, Mother Zhuo brought Zhuoling a bowl of bird's nest soup. Zhuoling sat up from his bed. Mom, where did this bird's nest come from? Their family was decently off, but bird's nest was still a bit extravagant. It was given by Lai Bao a few days ago, Mother's was said. I just finished cooking it. Eat it while it's hot. Zhuoling received the bowl with both hands and tasted it. It's quite fragrant. Could bird's nest not be fragrant? Mother Zhuo continued. I tell you, Lai Bao is a good girl. Her family has money, and her parents are still young. They can earn for many more years. If she marries into our family, not to mention bird's nest, even if you wanted dragon meat from the heavens, Lai Bao would find a way to buy it for you. Look at what Shangguan Shi brought last time she visited our home. Was she even half as sensible as Lai Bao? Bringing such cheap things on her first visit. How did her parents even raise her? Upon hearing this, Zhuoling placed the bowl on the bedstand. I am eating. Can't you give a rest? Blabbering on, it's so annoying. Mentioning that Chun Lai Bao just ruins my appetite. I can't eat. Mother Zhuo, looking anxious, said, All right, I won't speak of it anymore. Just eat. Mother Zhuo then picked up the bowl of bird's nest again. After Zhuoling finished the bird's nest, Mother Zhuo added, Did I hear that you proposed to Shangguan Shi? How did you propose? You didn't borrow money from someone, did you? Where would Zhuoling get money for an engagement ring since he handed over his monthly salary to her? Zhuoling laughed. Don't worry. Your son is so outstanding. I didn't need a ring to propose. I won Shangguanxi over with just a wildflower. Really? Mother Zhuo looked incredulous. Absolutely, Zhuoling boasted proudly. You should see who your son is. Mother Zhuo spoke again. That's true. Thinking about Shangguanzai's situation, she must be dying to pay you instead. Getting a wildflower from you is already good enough. How could she even dream of anything else? Not to mention Chen Liebao. The Chen family circumstances are certainly not poor, and yet Chen Liebao is still looking to win over Zhuoling. Who would blame her son for being competent? If Shangguanxi was capable, she'd have men paying her instead. Zhuoling then asked, By the way, Mom, where did you store the leftover bird's nest? I placed it on the cabinet. Okay. Zhuoling nodded. The next morning, while Mother and Father Zhuo were out for a walk, Zhuoling secretly packed the remaining bird's nest into his bag and took it with him. Due to last night's ordeal, Shangguanxi hadn't slept well and looked rather worn out by morning. During lunch, Zhuoling asked with concern, Xiaoxi, what's wrong? Didn't you sleep well last night? Shangguanxi shook her head. It's nothing. Zhuoling held Shangguanzai's hand and continued. By the way, Xiaoxi, have you told your uncle and aunt about us yet? Shangguanxi shook her head. Not yet. I think it's too soon. We've only just met the parents. Should we rush into marriage? Shangguanxi was very hesitant. She really liked Zhuoling, but she feared he was just appeasing her. What would she do if everyone's words turn out to be prophetic? Xiaoxi, we've known each other for 3 years. Don't you trust me yet? Or has someone been setting you against me? I hate to say it, but your family situation is really complicated with stepmothers, stepsisters, and 2 elderly folks unrelated to you by blood. Xiaoxi, you're so kind. I worry they might deceive you. No one's stirring anything up. I just think it's too soon. They're all my family. They wouldn't deceive me. Shangguanxi never considered Ni, Suihua, and the others as strangers. Zhuoling sighed. Xiaoxi, you are too kind. By the way, I have something for you. Guess what it is? What is it? Asked Shangguanxi. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1038. Rather starved to death, Zhuoling chuckled and said, Guess. What is it really? Shangguanxi was very curious. Could it be that Zhuoling had bought her a ring? Zhuoling took out the box he had prepared earlier. Seeing what was inside the box, Shangguanxi was stunned for a moment. Bird's nest? Zhuoling nodded. Yes, it's bird's nest. Bird's nest is a great thing, especially good for girls. Not only does it have beautifying effects, but it also nourishes and tonifies the lungs. I was actually thinking of buying you a ring, but then I thought a ring is just for show and not really practical. It'd be better to improve your health, so I used the money for the ring to ask a friend to buy it from abroad. Zhuoling's skill at deceit was profound. He could lie without batting an eyelid, making it seem as if the bird's nest really was something he had asked someone to buy abroad. He seemed to have completely forgotten who the real owner of this bird's nest was. Really? Shangguanxi was taken aback for a moment, not knowing quite how to feel. Last night, she hadn't slept at all because of the ring, and now it turned out that things weren't at all what she had imagined. So Zhuoling had her best interests at heart. She had misunderstood Zhuoling. For a moment, the look Shangguanxi gave Zhuoling was filled with guilt. She felt she really owed Zhuoling an apology. Zhuoling was so good to her, yet she had doubted him. Zhuoling smiled and said, I specially bought it for you. How could it be fake? Thank you, Zhuoling. Shangguanzai's eyes reddened slightly as she embraced Zhuoling. Silly girl, there's no need to be polite with me. Zhuoling felt very pleased with himself. Over at the Zhuo family, Zhuo's mother was chatting with the neighbors about Zhuoling's marriage proposal. Your Ling Ling must have spent quite a bit of money on the proposal, right? When my son proposed, he spent over 200 yuan on a ring, and that doesn't even include the bride price. Upon this topic, Zhuo's mother's face beamed with pride. Not at all. Our Ling Ling didn't spend a penny. Really, everyone expressed their doubts. Zhuo's mother continued, Would I lie to you? The girl really likes our Ling Ling. She virtually wants to pay dowry to us. How could she dare to let our Ling Ling spend a penny? What if our Ling Ling doesn't want her anymore? As these words were spoken, who wouldn't envy Zhu's mother? How could she be so capable to have such an outstanding son? Is Ling Ling's girlfriend the one who came last time? The tall, thin one? Yes, yes, yes. Zhu's mother nodded. That's her. Aunt Wu, you've seen her, right? I saw her last time she came over. The girl is very pretty. In her heart, Aunt Wu thought that while the girl was pretty, she seemed a bit simple-minded. Otherwise, why would she fall for Zhu Ling? Zhu's mother's smile was so broad it nearly stretched ear to ear. What's the use of being pretty? To tell you the truth, I actually prefer Chun Lai Bao. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Mama Ling, look who's coming. Aunt Wu pointed in the direction of the street corner. Zhu's mother turned her head to look, only to see the person walking towards them, laden with large and small packages, was none other than Chun Lai Bao. I won't keep you. I need to greet our future daughter-in-law. Zhu's mother deliberately raised her voice when she said future daughter-in-law, because only in this way could Chun Lai Bao hear her. Chun Lai Bao did hear her and was delighted, which motivated her to carry the parcels to the Zhu family's home. Auntie, Chun Lai Bao was truly very plump, to the point that Zhu's mother seemed almost non-existent next to her. Even a slight stomp of her foot gave the sensation of an earthquake. Zhu's mother kindly said, Lai Bao has come. Don't tire yourself. Let Auntie carry those for you. Beads of sweat pooled on Chun Lai Bao's forehead as she panted heavily. No need, Auntie. I can carry them myself. They're too heavy for you to lift. Zhu's mother said, You're such a dutiful child, always bringing so many things whenever you come over. Your parents are so blessed to have such a good daughter like you. I don't have your parents' luck, having given birth to 7 daughters, each one more disobedient than the last. Despite her weight, Chun Lai Bao was no fool. She knew Zhu's mother was only after her possessions. But she disliked Zhu Ling, had liked him since they were young. She was afraid that Zhu's mother wouldn't want anything, and if she truly wanted nothing, Chun Lai Bao would lose her advantage. So, she and Zhu's mother each had their own agendas. Chun Lai Bao said with a smile, It's my duty to be dutiful to you. By the way, has Zhu Ling not come back yet? She had timed her visit with Zhu Ling's usual time off from work. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1039. Rather starved to death, Zhu's mother walked into the house with Chun Lai Bao. Ling Ling hasn't come back yet. You sit first, and he will go peel an apple for you to eat. Thank you, Auntie. Chun Lai Bao put the gift she had brought to one side. After a while, Zhu Ling returned. When he saw Chun Lai Bao sitting on the sofa, his face changed. How did you get here? He didn't even want to bother giving Chun Lai Bao lip service. But Chun Lai Bao didn't mind Zhu Ling's attitude at all, stood up and said, Zhu Ling, you're back. Look what I brought you a gift. This is a men's shirt I had my cousin bring back from abroad, and this a Longines watch. I've heard many people like this watch these days. That watch, it seemed pretty nice, and as far as he knew, it was worth quite a bit of money. If he were to work, he would definitely look impressive. Not a single man doesn't love watches. The anger on Zhu Ling's face disappeared all at once. Chun Lai Bao observed the expression on Zhu Ling's face and carefully said, Shall I put it on for you? Zhu Ling didn't refuse Chun Lai Bao. Chun Lai Bao was overjoyed, immediately helped Zhu Ling put on the watch. Look how good this watch looks. By the way, I bought a women's one for Annie too. Really? Zhu Ling's mother came out of the kitchen. Really? Chun Lai Bao took out another watch box from her bag. Auntie, this is for you. Zhu's mother was delighted. Lai Bao, what do you want to eat tonight? Annie will cook it for you. Chun Lai Bao said with subtlety. Anything Annie cooks, I love to eat. Auntie, let me help you cook too. Zhu's mother refused. No need, you just sit in the living room and chat with Ling Ling. Annie can handle it. Chun Lai Bao continued. By the way, Annie, where's your nanny? Zhu's mother said. She said there was something urgent back home and asked for leave a few days ago. Chun Lai Bao nodded. Oh, I see. Normally, Zhuoling would certainly not be willing to sit on the sofa and chat with Chen Liebao, this pigsy, but today was different. After all, he had just accepted Chen Libao's watch. What if Chen Liebao got upset and regretted giving it? A true man can be flexible. What TV do you want to watch? Zhuoling picked up the remote control and asked for Chen Libao's preference. Chen Liebao looked shy. Whatever channel you tune to, I like to watch. Zhuoling felt goosebumps rise all over his skin. He really couldn't stand it. This Chen Liebao. Although Zhuoling really disliked Chen Liebao, he still endured the nauseating feeling and randomly selected a channel. Chen Liebao now had no interest in watching TV. Her gaze full of tenderness fixated on Zhuoling, as if she wished she could marry him and have kids right then and there. I need to use the bathroom. Zhuoling couldn't take it anymore and stood up from the sofa. He'll go too. Chen Liebao also stood up. I'm going to the bathroom. Why are you following? Zhuoling turned to look at Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao said lovingly, I'm accompanying you. Zhuoling, fighting back the urge to vomit, quickly headed towards the bathroom and closed the door behind him. Zhuoling sat on the toilet for more than half an hour before he went to open the door. Zhuoling, are you okay? Zhuoling had thought Chen Liebao would have left. He wasn't careful and bumped into Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao stretched out her hand to hold Zhuoling's head. Zhuoling, how can you be so careless? Are you okay? Zhuoling's head was firmly pressed against her chest by Chen Liebao, and he was nearly suffocating. Let go. Let me go. An opportunity like this was rare, and Chen Liebao wasn't stupid. She had no intention of letting go. Chen Liebao was quite heavy and strong. How could Zhuoling compete with her? After a full 5 minutes, Chen Liebao finally let go. Zhuoling, are you okay? It was truly disgusting. How could Chen Liebao be so shameless? Zhuoling immediately covered his mouth and rushed to the bathroom to throw up. The sound of retching was loud. He wished he could vomit out everything he had eaten the night before. In no time, his face turned pale. Chen Liebao squatted beside Zhuoling. Zhuoling, are you okay? What's wrong? Why are you throwing up? Do you feel unwell? Do you need to see a doctor? Zhuoling was fuming inside, but he couldn't show it outwardly. I'm fine, I just need to lie down on the bed for a while. Please step aside. I'll help you to your room. No need. Zhuoling waved his hand, feeling like vomiting at the sight of Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao shook his head in frustration. Right? How could a sick person walk? I should carry you to the room. Hearing this, Zhuoling looked at Chen Liebao with a face full of terror. Before he could react, he was scooped up by Chen Liebao as effortlessly as an eagle picking up a chick. After carrying Zhuoling to the room, Chen Liebao considerately covered him with a blanket and checked the temperature of his forehead with her hand. Zhuoling was nearly disgusted to death by Chen Liebao and finally couldn't take it anymore. Would you please leave? Are you sending me away? Chen Liebao looked at Zhuoling with a face full of hurt. Get out. Don't make me repeat myself a third time. I'm going to rest now. Disgust was written all over Zhuoling's face. Chen Liebao looked at Zhuoling unwillingly. But I want to stay with you. I really like you, and you know it. Zhuoling looked at her coldly. Chen Liebao wasn't intimidated by Zhuoling's demeanor. If anything, she seemed even more smitten. She really liked Zhuoling too much. Zhuoling was speechless. He couldn't understand how someone could be so shameless. Didn't Chen Liebao know what she looked like? She, resembling Zhu Beiji, fancied him. She showed not the slightest self-awareness. Zhuoling suppressed the churning in his stomach, turned over, and faced away from Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao, with her hands propping up her chin, gazed at Zhuoling with infatuation, wishing she could burn 2 holes in his back. After a while, mothers would finish cooking and call them to eat. With a Zhu Beiji around, how could Zhuoling have an appetite? Mom, you all go ahead. I'm not hungry. Mothers would knew Zhuoling disliked Chen Liebao, and his lack of appetite was due to his disgust for her. If you're not eating, so be it. Let's go, Liebao, we're going to eat. Chen Liebao was concerned for Zhuoling. How can you not eat? Man is iron. Food is steel. You'll get hungry if you skip a meal. Zhuoling, come on. Get up. Let's eat together. I'm not eating. Zwoling's attitude was somewhat unfriendly. Mother Zwa immediately snapped at Zwoling. You child, how can you talk to Lai Bao like that? Chun Lai Bao waved her hand. It's fine, Annie. I just love Zwoling's personality. This is what makes him so manly. Her last words came with a look of infatuation. Zwoling couldn't take it anymore. He felt like he was going to be disgusted to death by Chun Lai Bao. This fatso, when was she going to stop? He couldn't stand it anymore. I said I'm not eating. Aren't you annoying? Zwoling couldn't help but shout. Chun Lai Bao clenched her hands into a fist. Ah, he's getting more and more manly. Zwoling, Mother's was sported a proud grin. How could her son not be outstanding? Someone was even willing to chase after him with such fervor. Chun Lai Bao continued. Zwoling, if you don't want to get out of bed to eat, that's okay. They'll bring the food over and feed you later. Feed him? He would rather starve than be fed by that fatso. Zwoling was startled and immediately threw off the blanket. Standing up from the bed, he'll go. All right, you just leave my house after you've finished eating. Meanwhile, at the Ni family's house, Shangwan, she took out the bird's nest that Zwoling had sent and showed it to Nai Tsua. Mom, we misunderstood Zwoling yesterday. He isn't belittling me. Instead, he used the money for buying a ring to purchase bird's nest. He said that rings are flashy but of little substance, and it's better to buy bird's nest and nurture my health. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1040. Set a trap. Although these birds' nests aren't top grade, they're still imported from overseas and are much more expensive than a regular gold ring. With the Zwa family's financial capability, for him to buy these birds' nests for Shangwan, she was indeed quite remarkable. Could they really have misunderstood Zwoling? For a moment, I wasn't quite clear about the truth. Are these birds' nests really from Zwoling? Old lady Shangwan, holding little Ni Yun, came over from the other side. Really, Grandma? Shangwan, she nodded her head. Do I need to lie about something like this? Old lady Shangwan picked up a bird's nest and inspected it carefully. It couldn't be fake, could it? Grandma, why don't you trust Zwoling? Shangwan, she said speechlessly. He's not the type of person to fool me with fake stuff. Right then, Yin also walked in from outside. Shangwan, she hurriedly waved to Yin. Yang Yang, come here for a second. Yin walked over. What's up, Sister Xiaoxi? Shangwan, she continued. Yang Yang, do these birds' nests look fake to you? Yin picked up a bird's nest. Imported from Malaysia, they're not fake. Go ahead and eat them. Birds' nests are very good for women. Hearing Yin's response, Shangwan, she felt relieved. See, I told you these birds' nests aren't fake. How could Zwoling give me fake birds' nests? Zwoling gave these. Yin looked at Shangwan, she's somewhat surprised. She really hadn't expected Zwoling to gift Shangwan such precious items. That was really odd. Shangwan, she quickly explained the reason to Yin. Upon hearing this, Shangwan, she raised her eyebrows slightly. Sister Xiaoxi, didn't you ever think that these birds' nests could have been given to Zwoling by someone else, and he just passed them on to you? With Zwoling's character, Yin found it really hard to believe that he had bought these birds' nests to give to Shangwan Shi. Could a tight-fisted person pluck feathers? That's totally illogical. Impossible, Shangwan, she said firmly. Zwoling wouldn't deceive me. Yin nodded. Sister Xiaoxi, it seems to me you're getting in deeper and deeper. It seems some things needed to be initiated earlier. Yin squinted subtly. Shangwan, she laughed. Oh well, I just trust Zwoling, just like you trust Mo Chishan. A shallow dimple appeared on Yin's face. If Mo Chishan dares to deceive me like that, he'll smash his head in. Far away in a foreign land, attending a meeting, Mo Chishan sneezed out of the blue. Who? Who was thinking of him? Could it be his wife? A faint smile curled up Mo Chishan's lips, wrapping the outside snow and bringing a chilling cold. The people at the conference table shivered. Big boss, please stop smiling. So terrifying. Shangwan, she said, if our family's Zwoling dares to deceive me, then I will also smash his head in. Yin laughed. Sister Xiaoxi, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Don't worry, you'll never get to see it, Shangwan, she said, smiling as she wrapped her arm around Yan's shoulder. Yan just smiled. After dinner, Yan called Li Tong. Hello, Yang. Li Tong's voice sounded very excited. Due to her flawless skin, having just received some money from her elders, how could she not be excited? She was so happy she could jump. Yan continued. Tong Tong, are you free tomorrow morning? If you are, let's have coffee together. Yan inviting her. Even if she was busy, she had to make time. After all, Yan was her god of wealth. Li Tong said, I have time, of course I have time. What time shall we meet tomorrow morning? Let's meet at 10, Yan said. Okay, no problem. Don't miss it. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1041. Appointment with Li Tong. One more update. After arranging it with Li Tong, Yang hung up the phone. The next morning, Yang drove to meet her. Truth be told, she didn't want to drive, but it was too cold now, and riding a bike would have taken courage. When she arrived, Li Tong was already there. Yang, over here. Li Tong stood up and waved at Yang. Yang walked over with a smile. Tong Tong, how come you're so early? She was worried that Li Tong might wait for her, so Yang had purposely come 10 minutes early, but Li Tong had arrived even earlier. Li Tong said, well, I have the day off today and nothing to do at home. Yang handed the box she was holding to Li Tong. Tong Tong, this is the newest product from Frosty Jade Skin. Why don't you try it out? New product? The mention of those 3 words lit up Li Tong's eyes. Frosty Jade Skin's products were in such high demand that ordinary people couldn't even buy the limited editions, let alone new ones. Wow, what's this new product? Is it a face mask? Li Tong immediately opened the packaging. Frosty Jade Skin already had a milk pearl powder face mask, but face masks didn't usually look like this, so Li Tong was very curious, wondering exactly what this was. Yang explained with a smile, this is a snail essence eye mask, which can lighten crow's feet and under-eye lines, as well as reduce dark circles. It is quite effective. Dark circles would appear from staying up late, and no matter how much foundation you applied, you couldn't completely cover them up. This eye mask was simply a savior for night owls. Good skincare products shouldn't stay the same forever. So recently, Frosty Jade Skin had not only added eye masks, but had also launched several affordable skincare products. Of course, good things were meant to be shared. A mask. Do you use it on your eyes? Li Tong continued to ask. Exactly, Yang nodded. Li Tong followed up. Yang, thank you. How much is it? Although she hadn't used this eye mask yet, Li Tong was already a loyal fan of Frosty Jade Skin. She believed that Frosty Jade Skin wouldn't disappoint her. The eye mask must be really good. Yang replied with a smile. This is a new product, currently in the trial phase. Just let me know how it works for you afterward. There's no need to pay. Li Tong wasn't the kind to take advantage. No way, Yang. I can't accept the eye mask if you're not taking the money. Yang took a sip of coffee. Tong Tong, if you really feel bad about it, then do me a favor instead. What favor? Just tell me, said Li Tong. Yang began speaking softly. Hearing this, Li Tong patted her chest and said, no problem. Leave it to me. I promise I'll take care of it. Then he'll have to trouble you. It's no trouble at all, Li Tong continued. Yang, if you ever need help with anything in the future, just let me know. Since she wasn't working today, Shangwan she spent time on a date with Zhuoling brought up marriage again. Regarding the matter of marriage, Shangwan she was also somewhat at a loss. After all, it was a commitment for a lifetime, and she wanted to think it over properly. Xiaoxi, do you not love me? Zhuoling asked. Shangwan she replied, no, I love you very much. Zhuoling, why would you think that? Zhuoling continued, if you love me, why won't you marry me? Especially since you've already accepted my proposal. Zhuoling was anxious. The longer the delay, the more likely it was that Shangwan she might be snatched away by Wu Qinjun. Shangwan she thought for a moment and then said, Zhuoling, this is a matter for a lifetime. I need to discuss it with my family and prepare a lot of things. Have you already discussed it with your uncle and aunt? Zhuo Ling replied, My parents really like you. They can't wait for me to marry you. There's no need for discussion. They're just waiting for your response now. After all, he had even threatened with his own life once, so his parents didn't dare to disagree. Shang Wanshi said, Don't worry, Zhuo Ling. They'll pick a good day soon to talk to them about this, and I promise you won't have to wait too long. Shang Wan, she was in a hurry too. Her family had many misconceptions about Zhuo Ling and continuously disapproved of her marrying him. Was she supposed to secretly take her household registration book and sneak off to the Civil Affairs Bureau to register? But doing so would surely anger her parents once they found out. Hearing Shang Wanshi say this, Zhuo Ling no longer pressured her. Then he'll wait for your good news. Shang Wanshi nodded. Zhuo Ling continued, By the way, Xiaoxi, I had a friend bring back a gift for you from abroad again. What gift? Shang Wanshi asked, her face alight with surprise. This time Zhuo Ling didn't let Shang Wanshi guess and directly pulled a beautifully wrapped gift box from his pocket. Xiaoxi, why don't you open it and see? As instructed, Shang Wanshi opened the gift box and saw, nestled in the red velvet, a gorgeous Longines watch. Do you like it? Zhuo Ling asked. To ordinary people, a Longines watch was extremely luxurious, but for Shang Wanshi, it was hardly worth mentioning. For example, the foreign brand watch on Shang Wanzai's wrist was more than 100 times more expensive than the Longines. Unfortunately, Zhuo Ling didn't realize the worth and thought Shang Wan she was wearing a no-name watch. Still, since the watch represented Zhuo Ling's sentiments, Shang Wan she exclaimed with delight, I love it. Thank you so much, Zhuo Ling. A Longines watch cost over 200 yuan, and although it wasn't expensive, it at least proved Zhuo Ling's sincerity toward her. Just as N.I. Yang had said, if a person has 1 yuan and is willing to give it all to you, that's real love. Real love is priceless. Zhuo Ling earned only a bit over 100 yuan a month, yet he was willing to give her a watch worth over 200 yuan. That was real love. Shang Wan she was overjoyed to have found such a good man in this lifetime. Let me help you put it on, Zhuo Ling continued. Shang Wan she nodded and took off the watch she was wearing to pocket it. With disdain, Zhuo Ling said, Xiaoxi, that watch of yours is all worn out. Why keep it? Just throw it away. Shang Wan she replied, This watch was a gift from my dad. It holds special meaning. Zhuo Ling nodded. I see it's from your father, then it shouldn't be thrown away. After helping Shang Wan she put on the watch, he raised his own left hand and said, Look, Xiaoxi, now our watches even match. Shang Wan's smile grew even more joyful. Wearing the watch Zhuo Ling had given her, the thought of marrying him grew increasingly stronger. Shang Wan she had made up her mind. If her family still didn't approve, she would be bold for once. Zhuo Ling was such a good person. She believed her family would understand her. Zhuo Ling dropped Shang Wan she off at her home, then headed to his own place. As soon as he got home, Mother Zhuo asked with a stern face, Ling, did you take my watch? That watch had been a gift from Chun Lai Bao to her, and she hadn't even had the chance to wear it before it disappeared. Zhuo Ling nodded. Yes, what about it? What did you take my watch for? Mother Zhuo demanded. Zhuo Ling sat down on the couch. I gave it to Xiaoxi. What? Mother Zhuo nearly shrieked. He had given it to Shang Wanshi? He had actually given that expensive watch to that little bitch. Do you know how much that watch cost? Mother Zhuo's face turned red with anger. Without a care, Zhuo Ling picked up an apple. It's just a watch, right? Is it worth all this fuss? Besides, Xiaoxi is not an outsider. She's about to marry into our family. That watch costs over 200 yuan. Over 200 yuan. I couldn't even bring myself to wear it. And there you go, giving it to that little bitch without even blinking an eye. They weren't even married yet, and her son was already so enamored with that little bitch. What would happen if they did get married? Go right now and get that watch back from that little bitch. Go now. Mother Zhuo pushed Zhuo Ling toward the door. Speechless, Zhuo Ling said, Mom, is it really worth it? I'm your son. Do I mean less to you than a watch? Mother Zhuo yelled, It's my watch. We'll give you the right to give it to that little bitch. If you don't want to get it, then I will go to that little bitch myself and get it. That damn little bitch, daring to take her things. Zhuoling continued, Mom, calm down. Xiaoxi is going to marry into our family soon. We could just have her return the watch later. Right now, it's not going to happen. We're at a critical point. If you screw up our affair at this time, then I might as well be dead. After saying that, Zhuoling casually picked up the fruit knife on the table, appearing as if he were about to commit suicide. Mother Zhuo was terrified, her face turning deathly pale. Lingling dropped the knife. Put down the knife. Zhuoling placed the fruit knife down. Mom, don't worry. Once Xiaoxi steps into our home, you can treat her however you want, and I won't stop you. But not now. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1042, Beauty Trap, second update. He had to appease Shangwan Shi properly now. If he ruined a relationship at this time, wouldn't all his previous efforts be wasted? With suppressed frustration, Mothers was said, Fine, fine, fine. I won't look for her. Is that not enough if I don't look for her? Zhuoling responded with satisfaction. If you had acted like this earlier, I wouldn't have needed to get involved. At that moment, a voice came from the kitchen. Wife, where did you put our bird's nest? Birds' nests usually have some feathers, so the task of picking them fell to Father Zhuo. Hearing the words bird's nest, Zhuoling's brow twitched, and the apple in his hand suddenly lost its appeal. Mother Zhuo said, Isn't it on top of the cabinet? Look carefully. There's nothing. I only found an empty box. Father Zhuo replied. Mother Zhuo, already full of anger and nowhere to vent it, snapped. You useless idiot. You can't even find something as big as a bird's nest. What can you even do properly? Father Zhuo replied grievously. There really is only an empty box. Just then, Zhuoling continued, Mom, I took the bird's nest. You took it. Mother Zhuo looked at Zhuoling in surprise. What did you need the bird's nest for? As soon as she finished speaking, Mother Zhuo realized, Oh no, you didn't take our family's bird's nest to give to that little bitch, did you? By the last sentence, Mother Zhuo's voice had changed. Zhuoling nodded, yeah. Mother Zhuo really wanted to slap Zhuoling to death, but looking at her beloved son's face, she couldn't bring herself to do it, and instead took out her anger on Father Zhuo. You useless idiot. Look at your great son. Oh my God, my bird's nest. The bird's nest I couldn't bear to eat myself was wasted on that little bitch. Mother Zhuo hit and punched Father Zhuo. She was furious. Father Zhuo was so angry he wanted to scold Zhuoling, but he couldn't bring himself to do it and had to suppress his anger. That night, when it was time to sleep, Mother Zhuo felt more and more uneasy as she kept tossing and turning. She was heartbroken. There might be a chance to get the watch back, but not the bird's nest. Who knows? The bird's nest might have already ended up in that little bitch's stomach. Sleep, just sleep. Father Zhuo said helplessly, It's gone, let it be. Anyway, the Liebao family is rich, so we'll just ask Liebao to give us another one later. Mother Zhuo responded angrily. Liebao is not a fool. Our Lingling is about to marry that little bitch. Would Liebao still send stuff to our house? Father Zhuo then suggested, Then we'll just have to deceive Liebao. It's not like they are getting married right away. Mother Zhuo thought this was a good idea and paid a visit to Chun Lei Bao's house the next day. That visit indeed proved to be very fruitful. Morning light group. When lunchtime arrived, Zhuoling was anxious to meet Shangwan Shi, and he hurried to the cafeteria. He accidentally bumped into someone, and it was a beauty. Ouch, are you blind? I'm so sorry, are you all right? Zhuoling immediately apologized. He knew this beauty. Her name was Li Tong, and she worked in the department next door. It was said that Li Tong's family had a powerful background and had connections with the company's CEO, which was why she managed to have an office job. Li Tong looked up, saw Zhuoling's face, and froze, a blush coloring her cheeks. It's okay. Zhuoling also froze. As an experienced player in love games, he knew exactly why Li Tong was blushing. It was clearly the look of a young girl struck by love. Could it be that Li Tong had fallen for him? He was so handsome, youthful, and promising, with a high education level. It was completely normal for Li Tong to fall for him. Zhuoling's heart raced. You see, Li Tong had far better qualifications than Shangwan Shi. Shangwan, she had only her looks. Li Tong had the looks, the body, the education, not to mention her family background. Shangguan she couldn't compare to even 1/10,000th of Li Tong. Zhuo Ling hadn't even come back to his senses when he heard Li Tong ask, "What's your name? I don't think I've seen you before." Hearing this, Zhuo Ling pointed to his work badge and said, "Im Zhuo Ling." Li Tong nodded. "Im Li Tong, just call me Tong Tong." Tong Tong. Zhuo Ling's heart immediately fluttered. A woman wanting to be addressed so intimately clearly meant something significant. "I have to go ahead for something else," Li Tong said, then walked in a different direction. Zhuo Ling wanted to follow her, but was afraid of being too forward, so he stared at Li Tong's back for a long time. Li Tong was beautiful and had a particularly cold demeanor. Several male colleagues in the office had tried to pursue her, but all had eventually given up. Over time, no one dared to pursue Li Tong anymore. Zhuo Ling hadn't expected Li Tong to treat him differently. The more Zhuo Ling thought about it, the more excited he became, so much so that he was distracted while having dinner with Shangguan Shi. As they ate, Shangguan Shi said, "Zhuo Ling, I mentioned us to my parents last night, but they seem to misunderstand you and temporarily don't approve of our relationship. I'm so sorry." Shangguan Shi felt very guilty, as Zhuo Ling had been waiting for her, but she kept disappointing him. "Zhuo Ling must be very upset right now." Zhuo Ling said, "It's okay, it's okay." Seeing Zhuo Ling like this, Shangguan Shi thought he was angry and continued, "Zhuo Ling, I've made up my mind. They'll sneak our household registration book from home. Let's quietly go to the Civil Affairs Bureau and register our marriage." "Oh, okay." Zhuo Ling nodded absent-mindedly, then suddenly realized something was off. "No. Xiaoxi, what did you just say?" Had Zhuo Ling been too excited and hallucinated? Shangguan Shi repeated what she had just said with a smile. "What? Register for marriage?" Zhuo Ling was startled and accidentally knocked over the soup bowl on his dinner tray, spilling the pork rib soup all over the table. Shangguan Shi quickly stood up to wipe the table. "How about it? Are you really excited now?" Shangguan Shi thought that Zhuo Ling must be too excited about the news. In fact, had he not met Li Tong an hour before, Zhuo Ling would indeed have been very excited. After all, he had always wanted to marry Shangguan Shi. But not now. Not that he never would, but at least he had no immediate thoughts of getting married, because he was unsure whether Li Tong was really interested in him. If Li Tong really liked him, and he was already married to Shangguan Shi, wouldn't he miss out on Li Tong? Therefore, he couldn't register the marriage with Shangguan Shi for the time being. Zhuo Ling gathered his thoughts, and then said, "Xiaoxi, I think matters of marriage still need the approval of our parents. After all, they have worked hard to raise you, and it wouldn't be fair to them if we were to act this way, would it?" Before he pursued Li Tong, Zhuo Ling wouldn't easily break up with Shangguan Shi. What if he hastily broke up with Shangguan Shi, but Li Tong didn't like him? Wouldn't it all be in vain? After speaking, Zhuo Ling added, "Xiaoxi, misunderstandings are okay. I believe I can clear up your uncle and aunt's misunderstandings about me with sincerity. Registering hastily not only disheartens the elders, but also makes them feel that I am unreliable. Xiaoxi, I don't want to put you in a difficult position. I am willing to wait." Zhuo Ling spoke righteously, and Shangguan, she was very moved. She hadn't expected Zhuo Ling to consider her perspective to such an extent. It seems they had misunderstood Zhuo Ling before. Shangguan, she suddenly felt very sorry for Zhuo Ling. "Zhuo Ling, thank you. Thank you for thinking so much for me. Actually, I still have something I've been hiding from you. Lovers shouldn't keep secrets." She shouldn't have hidden her family background from Zhuo Ling. She should be honest with Zhuo Ling. Just then, Zhuo Ling suddenly saw Li Tong. Li Tong was walking this way. He absolutely couldn't let Li Tong see him with Shangguan Shi. Zhuo Ling suddenly stood up and said, "Xiaoxi, I suddenly feel a bit unwell. I'm going back to the office." Hearing that Zhuo Ling felt unwell, Shangguan, she said with a concerned face, "Zhuo Ling, are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital?" "No, I'm fine," Zhuo Ling continued. "You'll just rest at the office for a bit. Don't follow me. Go ahead and eat." As he finished speaking, Zhuo Ling ran off like a shot. Shangguan, she didn't think much of it, assuming Zhuo Ling was just concerned she hadn't eaten enough. Back at the office, Zhuo Ling finally breathed a sigh of relief, thankful that Li Tong hadn't seen him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to explain. That evening after work, afraid of being seen by Li Tong, Zuoling made an excuse to work overtime and sent Shang Wanshi home first. The next morning, when Zuoling showed up at the office again, he was startled, because Li Tong had been transferred to their office. Upon seeing Zuoling, Li Tong turned towards him and took the initiative to greet him. Zuoling, good morning. We're in the same office now. I'm sitting right next to you. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1043. Zuoling is hooked. Part 3. Zuoling looked at the enthusiastic Li Tong and thought he must be hallucinating. The aloof and stunning Li Tong was actually taking the initiative to greet him. Zuoling felt countless envious gazes turning towards him. Oh my God, he couldn't be dreaming, could he? Zuoling pinched the inside of his thigh hard. Ouch, it hurt. He wasn't dreaming. Zuoling looked up at Li Tong. Li Tong smiled slightly. Please enlighten me on work-related matters in the future. Of course, Zuoling nodded. If you have any questions about work, just ask me. Thank you, Zuoling. Li Tong casually picked up a paper bag from the desk. To thank you, I'm treating you to breakfast. Zuoling sheepishly accepted the breakfast bag. When a woman takes the initiative to show favor to a man, her intentions are all too obvious. Li Tong must have fallen for him. Maybe she even moved here for him. Zuoling thought smugly to himself. During the lunch break, Li Tong went to talk with other female colleagues, while a few male colleagues surrounded Zuoling. Zuoling, you dog. You even tamed a beauty like Li Tong. Zuoling, share some tips with us. Exactly. You can't keep these tips to yourself. You have to share with us all, so we can all win a beauty. Zuoling was very pleased inside, but he feigned humility. Actually, I didn't do much. Maybe I just happen to be the type Li Tong likes. Zuoling, you can't be serious. Are you still hiding something? Another colleague chimed in. Hey, do you guys know who Li Tong is? She's the factory manager's niece. The factory manager's niece? Zuoling looked at the colleague who spoke in surprise. Really? Although he knew there was some connection between Li Tong and the factory manager, he didn't know Li Tong was actually the niece of the factory manager. Their factory manager was in her 50s, still unmarried, without any children of her own. If Li Tong really was her niece, then she was almost like a daughter to her. After the factory manager passes away, the factory would belong to Li Tong. Of course it's true. I once saw Li Tong come out of the factory manager's office, calling her auntie. Now, isn't that proof enough that she is the niece? As soon as others heard that Li Tong was the manager's daughter, their expressions changed as well, their eyes revealing even more evident envy. Oh my God! Zuoling, you can't forget us when you make it big. Zuoling, you must have stepped in a fortune to be seen differently by the future factory manager. Zuoling, you've got to seize the opportunity, humor Li Tong well, and you could be the future factory manager. Everyone was saying their piece, and Zuoling was also extremely excited. Just like everyone said, if he really married Li Tong, then he wouldn't just be the son-in-law of the factory manager. He would be the future factory manager. In the future, the thousands of people in the factory would be under his command. No, he had to seize the opportunity that lay before him. It seemed that these days he needed to maintain a proper distance from Shang Wanshi. He couldn't let Li Tong find out anything. Shang Wanshi had clearly felt Zuoling distancing himself from her these past days. During lunch, he wouldn't come to the cafeteria, but ate in the office instead, and after work, he didn't wait for her anymore. What was wrong with him? Could it be because of the marriage matter? He was angry? Shang Wanshi stood in front of the window, letting out a deep sigh, and just then, she was embraced from behind. Zuoling. Shang Wanshi turned around in surprise, and the person was indeed Zuoling. Zuoling said, Xiaoxi, we've been really busy in our department recently. I'm sorry I've neglected you. Li Tong had taken a day off and wasn't at the factory, so Zuoling dared to be so bold. Moreover, he had been estranged from Shang Wanshi for such a long time. If the estrangement continued, what if Shang Wanshi was deceived by someone else? Besides, Zuoling hadn't confirmed his relationship with Li Tong yet. He couldn't afford to give up the sesame for the sake of the watermelon. ending up seeing neither the watermelon nor the sesame. One must always be prepared for both possibilities. The gloom of several days instantly vanished with Zhuo Ling's explanation. Shangwan, she smiled and said, "It's okay. Work is important. I thought you were angry with me." In his heart, Zhuo Ling chuckled at how silly Shangwan she was, but sweetly said on the surface, "How could I be? Xiaoxi, you are the one I love the most. How could I be mad at you?" Shangwan's face blushed a bit, and she pushed Zhuo Ling away. "Don't be like this. I'm telling the truth," Zhuo Ling declared with conviction. "In my heart, no one is more important than you. Right, tomorrow is Saturday. Let's go see a movie together. Before the movie, let's go out to eat first." Shangwan, she nodded. "All right, I just so happen to have something to discuss with you this Saturday." Shangwan, she didn't want to keep hiding it from Zhuo Ling any longer. She trusted Zhuo Ling. He wasn't the kind of person who cared about family background. The next day was Saturday. Zhuo Ling arrived early at the spot he had arranged with Shangwan, but found Li Tong there instead. This made Zhuo Ling anxious. What if Li Tong saw him with Shangwan Shi? No, he couldn't let Shangwan Shi come over now. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he could put on a good show in front of Li Tong. Zhuo Ling quickly found a phone and called Shangwan Shi. "Hey, Xiaoxi, something came up today. My mom isn't feeling well, and I have to take her to the hospital, so I can't meet you. Sorry, let's go watch a movie next week instead." Upon hearing this, Shangwan, she became very nervous. "Is Annie okay? Which hospital are you at? I can come over and visit." As a girlfriend, she naturally had to visit when her boyfriend's mother was sick, bring some good, nourishing gifts to make up for her previous rudeness, and also take the opportunity to foster a good mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship. Zhuo Ling continued, "Xiaoxi, it's not necessary to go through all that trouble. My mom, she doesn't have a serious problem. It's cold now, and there are many germs in the hospital. If my mom transferred her illness to you, then I'd be the guilty one. Just take good care of yourself at home for now. I have to go now, bye." Shangwan, she wanted to say more, but the call had already been disconnected. He was in such a rush. But thinking that Zhuo Ling's intentions were for her own good, Shangwan's heart grew sweet as honey. After hanging up, Shangwan, she thought she shouldn't keep Zhuo Ling waiting any longer. She had to quickly get her family's approval for her marriage to Zhuo Ling. To win over her family, she had to first convince Grandma Shangwan. Once Grandma Shangwan gave her approval, nobody would dare to object. Thinking this way, Shangwan, she brewed 2 cups of ginseng tea and headed to Grandma Shangwan's room. Since it was Saturday, Grandma Shangwan was sitting on the couch chatting with Shangwan Furong. "Grandma, Aunt Furong, this is the ginseng tea I've just made. Aren't you going out to have fun today, Xiaoxi?" Shangwan Furong asked with a smile. Shangwan, she smiled. "I was planning to go see a movie with Zhuo Ling, but his mother suddenly got sick, so we canceled today's date." Shangwan Furong took a sip of the ginseng tea. "Xiaoxi, are you and Zhuo Ling still dating?" "Yes," Shangwan, she nodded. "This child is too stubborn. Everyone in the family says that Zhuo Ling isn't suitable, but she is set in her ways." Grandma Shangwan turned to Shangwan Furong. "Furong, do you know what Zhuo Ling proposed to Xiaoxi with?" Thinking of this, Grandma Shangwan's heart filled with indignation. She could rant about it to Shangwan Furong for days on end. Shangwan Furong responded with surprise. "My goodness, Zhuo Ling has proposed." "Yes, he did." Grandma Shangwan continued. "This scatterbrained niece of yours agreed too. Xiaoxi, bring out the engagement ring Zhuo Ling gave you. Let Aunt Furong have a look." Shangwan, she said, exasperatedly, "Grandma, why do you still remember this? Didn't Zhuo Ling already buy me bird's nest? Besides, he also gave me a watch later on." Shangwan Furong was confused. "Mom, Xiaoxi, what are you talking about? I don't understand." Grandma Shangwan recounted the whole incident to Shangwan Furong. After understanding the full story, Shangwan Furong said, "Xiaoxi, your grandma is right. You are too naive. I think this Zhuo Ling is trying to pull a fast one. But in the end, he still bought me bird's nest and a watch." Shangwan, she protested. "Xiaoxi, you are just too young." Shangwan Furong continued. "Marriage is a lifelong matter. How could you be so hasty in deciding? Besides, look at the young ladies around you, besides you, who is wearing a ring made of wild grass. From this, it's clear that Zhuo Ling doesn't value you at all. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1044. It's Always Crazy Once, Part 4. Upon finishing her words, Shangwan Furong continued, "Moreover, I suspect that those birds' nests and watches weren't even bought by him. A man who can use wild grass to propose. What else can't he do? If the Zhua family couldn't afford a ring, that would be one thing, but money is certainly not an issue for them, which indicates that Zhuo Ling doesn't really care about Shangwan Shi. What kind of good life can you expect with a man who doesn't hold you in his heart? Little aunt, Zhuo Ling really isn't like that. I've known him for 3 whole years. And I also feel that a ring is not practical. It just gets in the way when worn on the hand. Compared to that, she preferred birds' nests and watches." Shangwan Furong helplessly shook her head. "Xiaoxi, I think you're completely bewitched." Madame Shangwan picked up the conversation. "Xiaoxi, not only does your little aunt disagree with you being with Zhuo Ling, but even your great aunt thinks that there's a big problem with Zhuo Ling's character. The whole family opposed this marriage, and only Shangwan Shi herself couldn't see the actual truth. Perhaps this is what it means to be blind when you're involved in the situation." Shangwan Shi said very firmly, "I don't care. I just want to marry Zhuo Ling." "I don't agree." Madame Shangwan was just as firm. "Xiaoxi, your mother passed away early, and I have a responsibility towards you. I can't just watch you jump into a pit of fire with my own eyes." "Grandma, please." Shangwan Shi clung to Madame Shangwan's arm, nearly in tears. "Zhuo Ling and I truly love each other. He's not a pit of fire. Please bless us." Madame Shangwan was no fool. She knew she couldn't afford to be soft-hearted at this time, because Zhuo Ling was not a good man. At the side, Shangwan Furong tried to persuade Shangwan Shi, "Xiaoxi, your grandmother is only thinking of your best interests. We won't speak of family backgrounds, but just consider Zhuo Ling's character. He's not worthy of you. And besides, his family situation is too complicated, with 7 sisters. If you really marry him, you're going to regret it one day." Although Zhuo Ling claimed that his family didn't favor boys over girls, Shangwan Furong felt he was lying. How could such a family not favor boys? "No, I won't regret it," Shangwan Shi continued. "And there's no problem with Zhuo Ling's character at all. Everything he does is for my sake. He has my best interests at heart." Shangwan Furong shook her head helplessly. "Grandma, I beg you, I've never asked you for anything from when I was small until now. This is the first time. Please agree, will you? All those in love are the same. They long to be with the one they love and pray for their family's blessing. The so-called feelings of happiness and sweetness fill their hearts completely, making them deaf and blind to everything else. They focus solely on being with their loved one, unafraid of even a future of hardship and darkness." Shangwan, she was a prime example. She was someone who would disregard everything for love. In life, you have to be crazy at least once. Madame Shangwan understood Shangwan Zai's nature well. If she were to refuse outright, she feared that Shangwan she might do something extreme. She sighed and said, "Xiaoxi, let me think about it." Hearing this, a glimmer of hope flashed in Shangwan Zai's eyes. "Grandma, do you agree?" Madame Shangwan said, "I can't give you an answer just yet whether I agree or not. I'll let you know when I've made up my mind." As long as Madame Shangwan was willing to compromise, it meant there was still hope for the matter. "Shangwan," she said with a smile, "then, Grandma, you must think it over. Zhuo Ling really is an outstanding grandson-in-law. I'll never regret marrying him." All right, Madame Shangwan waved her hand. "Go on out. I have some things to discuss with your little aunt." As she spoke, Shangwan she turned and walked out. "I'll go then. Whenever you're ready, Grandma, just let me know." After Shangwan she had left, Madame Shangwan sighed. This child, Xiaoxi, is really becoming more and more like her mother. Su Fun, back then, was even crazier than Shangwan Shi. They were both people who would do anything for love. Shangwan Furong nodded and sighed. Yes, Xiaoxi has grown up so fast, but some things feel like they only happened yesterday. As she spoke, Shengwan Furong's tone changed as she continued. But Mom, do you really plan on agreeing to Xiaoxi and Zuoling being together? Do you think I, as her grandmother, could just watch her jump into a pit of fire? Madame Shangwan retorted. Is this a delaying tactic? Shangwan Furong asked. Madame Shangwan nodded. Xiaoxi can be quite extreme sometimes. If I didn't say it this way, I'm afraid she would do something earth-shattering. Shangwan Furong sighed softly. But this can't continue forever. You can't keep dragging it out, can you? Madame Shangwan looked up at the window. Let's wait until Yang Yang comes back tonight. Then I'll discuss it with her. That child is the cleverest when it comes to ideas. Later that night, when Enai Yang came back, Madame Shangwan eagerly pulled Enai Yang in her room to talk about Shangwan Zai's situation. Upon hearing it all, Enai Yang said with a smile, Grandma, you don't need to worry about this matter. I believe that in a few days, Sister Xiaoxi will break up with Zuoling on her own. Really? Lady Shangwan couldn't believe her eyes as she looked at Enai Yang. Enai Yang nodded slightly. Really? Yang Yang, do you know something? Or did you do something? Lady Shangwan asked out of curiosity. Enai Yang responded with a mysterious smile. It was just a little trick. Enai Yang trusted herself, and she trusted Li Tong. Hearing this, Lady Shangwan instantly felt relieved and said with a smile, Ah, Yang Yang, with your words, I can rest easy. The next day was Sunday, and Enai, Suihua, and Shangwan went to the orphanage as usual. Time flew by, and another week passed. That week, Zuoling was still incredibly busy, so busy that he barely had the time to see Shangwan Shi. Today it was an exception. Zuoling, afraid that Shangwan Shi might suspect something, said first, Xiaoxi, have you and your family discussed our marriage? Upon mentioning this, Shangwan Shi looked at Zuoling with a face full of guilt. I'm so sorry, Zuoling, for making you wait so long. I've already talked to my grandmother, but she hasn't given me an answer yet. Zuoling took Shangwan Zai's hands and spoke tenderly. It's okay, Xiaoxi, I understand you, and I can wait for you. On closer inspection, Shangwan Shi was actually even more beautiful than Li Tong. But Li Tong was better at dressing up. Each had their own merits, and, if possible, Zuoling truly wished he could have them both. Unfortunately, that was not possible. If only Shangwan Shi had a background like Li Tong, then he would definitely choose Shangwan Shi. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Shangwan Shi was just a country girl. Zuoling no longer wanted to play act with Shangwan Shi, especially since Li Tong was now more important, but he had already wasted a full 3 years on Shangwan Shi and recently even gave her bird's nest and a watch. These gifts couldn't just be for nothing, and those 3 years couldn't have been wasted. So, he wanted to extract some interest from Shangwan Shi. How? Of course, by sleeping with Shangwan Shi. During their years together, aside from occasionally holding hands, they hadn't even shared a kiss. Zuoling's calculating mind was working overtime, but Shangwan Shi was completely unaware that she had become prey in Zuoling's trap. Xiaoxi, do you have time this Saturday? Yes, Shangwan Shi nodded. Zuoling followed up. Then let's meet at the cafe under the blossom on Saturday. Okay, Zuoling, don't worry. I will definitely give you a satisfactory answer on Saturday. And on that day, I also have a long-hidden secret to tell you. This secret was something Shangwan Shi had intended to reveal to Zuoling the previous week, but it was postponed due to his mother falling ill. Ordinarily, Zuoling would have been curious about Shangwan Zai's secret, but today, he was not curious at all. The person he wanted to marry wasn't Shangwan Shi, so naturally, he had no interest in her secrets. In fact, if Zuoling had asked now, Shangwan Shi would have told him about the issue with her family background, because she felt guilty towards Zuoling. Unfortunately, Zuoling didn't ask. It didn't matter if he didn't ask, she would personally come clean on Saturday. After exchanging a few words with Shangwan Shi, Zuoling returned to his office. As soon as he had settled into his seat, Li Tong leaned over to ask him a question. Zuoling could distinctly smell the fragrance of Li Tong's perfume, and it immediately stirred his desires. When he returned home in the evening, his mother came to him again, speaking ill of Shangwan Shi. She hoped her son would give up on Shangwan Shi and marry Chen Liebao. Zhuo Ling said with a smile, Mom, I think you're right. Shangwan Shi really isn't my match. Oh my dear son, you've finally come to your senses. His mother said excitedly. Then tomorrow I will go to the Liebao family and settle things between you and Liebao. Zhuo Ling continued. Chen Liebao isn't my match either. Mom, you're underestimating your son. Compared to Li Tong, what was Chen Liebao worth? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1045. Everything is under control. Fifth watch. Zhuo's mother was flustered. It was normal for Shangwan Shi not to match Zhuo Ling, but why now did Chen Liebao also not suit him? Lingling, could it be that you're dating someone new? Zhuo Ling shook his head. Mom, do you know who is pursuing me now? Although Li Tong hadn't explicitly pursued him, she had always been showing him goodwill and even moved to the same office as him. Wasn't that pursuing him? Who? Zhuo's mother asked. Zhuo Ling proudly said, Our factory manager's niece. The factory manager's niece? Upon hearing this, both Zhuo's father and mother widened their eyes in surprise. My goodness, their son was too impressive. He was even getting chased by the factory manager's niece. Zhuo Ling continued. Also, our factory manager situation is quite special. She's over 50 this year, never married, and has no children. When she gets older, the factory will definitely go to her niece. Before Zhuo Ling could finish, Zhuo's mother impatiently said, My goodness, Lingling, then you'll be the big boss of the factory in the future. Zhuo's father equally excitedly said, I always knew our Lingling was capable. Zhuo Ling nodded smugly. The entire Morning Light group would be his in the future. How could he not be proud? At this moment, Zhuo Ling was also feeling lucky. Thankfully, he hadn't married Shangwan Shi. If he had, wouldn't he have missed out on Li Tong and the position as factory manager? Zhuo's mother then asked, So, have you broken up with Shangwan Shi yet? Zhuo Ling shook his head. I haven't had the chance to break up yet. I plan to clarify things with her this week. Zhuo's mother said, Don't wait for this week. Just clear it up tomorrow. And remember, make her return the bird's nest and the watch. If she refuses, they'll go to her myself. Zhuo Ling continued, Mom, don't worry. I know how to handle it. Zhuo's mother then asked, What's the name of your factory manager's niece? How old is she this year? Zhuo Ling said her name is Li Tong. She's very beautiful, just a few years older than me. Had this been in the past, Zhuo's mother definitely would not have approved. Joking aside, her son was so outstanding. How could he settle for an older wife? But now, in the face of money and background, none of these were problems. As the saying goes, an older woman brings gold bricks. The older the better. Zhuo's father nodded in agreement. I think what your mother is saying is quite right. Lingling, you can't disdain her. Zhuo Ling smiled and said, Don't worry, Mom and Dad. I absolutely won't disdain her. Zhuo's mother continued. Yesterday, Liebao brought more bird's nest and ginseng. Mom will use a beautiful box to package it. You take it to Li Tong. Zhuo Ling said, Mom, now that I'm going to be with Li Tong, please don't let Chen Liebao come to our house anymore. What if Li Tong misunderstands? Besides, now just seeing Chen Liebao was revolting. Zhuo's mother said, That won't do. If Liebao stops coming, who will bring bird's nest and ginseng to our house? Who will buy your clothes? Once you and Li Tong's relationship is confirmed, only then can I clarify things with Liebao. Zhuo's mother was no fool. How could she sever ties with the Chun family while things were still uncertain? You know, half of the Zhuo family's sustenance was provided by Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao could be considered a money tree for the Zhuo family. Now it was perfect to use Chen Liebao's gifts to support Li Tong. Zhuo's mother's abacus clicked very loudly. Everything was within her calculations. Concluding her words, Zhuo's mother continued, Lingling, keep up the effort on your end. Try to win over Li Tong as soon as possible. Preferably make it a done deal, so she can't leave you. Only then can I comfortably reject Liebao. Okay, Mom, Zhuo Ling nodded. On the other side, As Saturday was quickly approaching, Shangguan she found her grandmother. "Grandma, have you finally decided about me and Zuoling?" She was truly very anxious. This time, she didn't want to disappoint Zuoling again. She wanted to give an explanation both to herself and to Zuoling. Grandmother Shangguan said, "Marriage is a lifetime affair. Xiaoxi, what's the rush? I still need to think it over." Shangguan she speechlessly said, "But you've been thinking for more than a week." Grandmother Shangguan chuckled, "All good things take time. Don't be anxious, Xiaoxi." These words were instructed by Ni Yang to say. Ni Yang's exact words were that within this week, Shangguan she would definitely have a change of heart and see Zuoling's true face. All she needed to do was to keep delaying Shangguan shi. Shangguan shi knew that her grandmother was intentionally dragging out the time. She might as well not say too much to the elderly Mrs. Shangguan. After all, no matter how much she said, they would never approve of her relationship with Zuoling. It seemed she had to resort to desperate measures now. That very night, Shangguan she sneaked into the study room and managed to get a hold of the family household registration book. She planned to confess her true family circumstances to Zuoling on Saturday and, while at it, register their marriage. Once it's done, let's see what everyone has to say then. Time flew by quickly, and soon it was Saturday. Dressed and ready, Shangguan she headed out to her appointment. But strangely, when she arrived at the cafe under the flowers, she did not find Zuoling there. Normally, he would arrive more than an hour early. Could something have held him up? Shangguan she randomly picked a seat and sat down, and right then, a waiter approached her. "Excuse me, are you Miss Shangguan?" Shangguan she nodded. The waiter handed her a note. "This was left for you by Mr. Zhuo." Upon reading the note, she found that Zuoling actually had arrived earlier, but had to cancel their meeting due to an unforeseen emergency. Shangguan she sighed in disappointment. She had even planned a surprise for Zuoling. Such unexpected turns of fate. It looked like they wouldn't be able to register their marriage today, and she wasn't even sure if Zuoling would be available tomorrow. With a gloomy face, Shangguan she left the cafe, her good mood from the morning completely gone. Having wandered aimlessly around the streets for several laps, she was just about to head home when a car suddenly stopped in front of her. The car window slowly rolled down to reveal a stunningly beautiful face. It was Ni Yang. Yang. Shangguan she looked at Ni Yang in surprise. During the car ride, the two chatted and decided to head to the biggest mall in Beijing. The mall was bustling, filled with the festive spirit as the new year approached. "Yang, what kind of clothes do you want to buy?" asked Shangguan shi, linking arms with Ni Yang. Ni Yang looked around, definitely a Cheongsam. Cheongsams were versatile. They could be paired beautifully with long down jackets or long wool coats. Shangguan she said with a smile, "I envy you. You can wear a Cheongsam anytime." She too wished to wear Cheongsams, but she didn't think she had the figure for it. Cheongsams were extremely picky, not just in terms of facial appearance, but also body type, especially the latter. Even the slightest flaw could be accentuated. "Yang." Another voice echoed through the air. Ni Yang looked up to see it was Du Jiaojiao, Sister Jiaojiao. "Hey, pretty Xiaoxi, shopping for clothes too?" Du Jiaojiao came over with a smile. Ni Yang nodded. "Yes, Sister Jiaojiao, are you also here to shop? Why don't we shop together?" Of course, I was just about to say that. Their jovial conversation caught the eye of Wu Yinyun, who was also there to shop. Normally, she would have greeted Du Jiaojiao, but with Ni Yang present, she chose to ignore Du Jiaojiao. From Du Jiaojiao's perspective, she could detect Wu Yanyun's evasive gaze. "Pretty lady, what's going on with you and Yinyun?" "Ah." Ni Yang was taken aback. She had never discussed matters concerning Wu Yinyun with anyone, so how could Du Jiaojiao know about it? Du Jiaojiao recounted an incident where Wu Yinyun had spoken ill of Ni Yang behind her back. Hearing this, Shangguan she covered her mouth in shock. Oh my, how could Yinyun do something like that? Even Ni Yang didn't expect Wu Yinyun to stoop to such mean-spirited actions. It seemed she really despised her to the marrow. Du Jiaojiao continued, "And just now, she clearly saw us but didn't come over to greet us. That's really odd. Pretty lady, what's really going on between you and Yinyun?" Du Jiaojiao was extremely curious. And Yang's eyes remained calm. It's complicated and can't be explained in just a sentence or two. Actually, Yin is my younger sister, blood-related. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1046, Scumbag Exposes True Colors, Awakening. Sixth update, facts were facts, and Yang did not want to conceal anything. Du Jiaojiao looked at Yang in surprise. No wonder I always thought you two looked a bit alike. Although Wu Yinyun did slightly resemble Yang, her features were not as stunning. Beauty lies in the skin as well as in the bones. Compared to Yang, Wu Yinyun lacked a lot of natural charisma. Wu Yinyun was the gentle lady locked in the boudoir, while Yang was indeed the world-conquering beauty in brilliant attire. These two, fundamentally, couldn't even be compared. Yang just smiled. When Du Jiaojiao learned that Yang had saved old Master Du, she thoroughly investigated Yang's background. She knew about Yang's life experiences. She also knew Yang had 3 sisters who were abandoned due to the preference for a male child. Does Yin know she is your sister? Du Jiaojiao continued to ask. Yang nodded she knows. Du Jiaojiao then said, is she blaming your grandmother for abandoning her, and that's why she bears a grudge against you? Maybe. Yang's tone was indifferent. She blames me and my mother for not protecting her. Du Jiaojiao frowned slightly. It's understandable that she blames your aunt, but if she also resents you, then that's unreasonable. How old were you at that time? What did you have done? Yang was also just a child at that time. She probably had only just started to walk steadily. How could she have stopped Grandma Mu from throwing away the children? Yang just smiled silently. Du Jiaojiao continued. Have you explained it to her? I have. Yang shrugged, but she wouldn't listen. Not only did she not listen, but she also saw Yang as a completely wicked villain. Fortunately, Yang was rather open-minded and didn't mind these issues. If it were someone else, Wu Yanyin's heartless words could probably kill them with frustration. Du Jiaojiao sighed. Every family has its own troubles. All right, let's not talk too much about this. Let's go over there and take a look. Yang nodded, took Shengwan Zai's hand, and followed Du Jiaojiao's steps. After the 3 of them left, Wu Yinyun emerged from behind the cover. She had a hunch. They were just discussing her. Yang must have spoken ill of her to Du Jiaojiao, stirring up trouble, reversing right and wrong. Perhaps by now, she's already a villain who cannot discern good from evil in Du Jiaojiao's eyes. It was so unbearable. Why should Yang malign her behind her back? Wu Yinyun bit her lip hard, her face full of resentment. Yet now, aside from feeling aggrieved, she had no other option. Yang was too shrewd, winning hearts effortlessly. Even if she rushed to explain, Du Jiaojiao wouldn't believe her. In front of Yang, she had no choice but to accept her fate. But she didn't want to. Yang didn't have as much drama as Wu Yinyun. During the dress fitting, her pager beeped. Seeing the message on the pager, Yang's mouth curved slightly, and she turned her head to call Shangwan Shi Sister Xiaoxi. Shangwan Shi was busy picking out clothes for Zhuoling. Hearing Yang calling her, she turned her head towards Yang. Yang, what's the matter? Yang continued. Sister Xiaoxi, I suddenly feel like drinking to buy pear juice. Could you buy me a bottle? I've walked too much today. I really can't walk anymore, and they sell it right over there. Shangwan Shi nodded. Sure, Sister Jiaojiao, would you like one too? He'll get you one. Du Jiaojiao smiled and said, that will be kind of you, Xiaoxi. You're welcome. With that, Shangwan Shi, picking up her bag, walked in that direction. The moment Shangwan Shi left, Wu Qinjun arrived. Yang, what did you want to see me for? Yang smiled and said, let me introduce you to my good friend Du Jiaojiao. Sister Jiaojiao, this is my sister's admirer, Wu Qinjun. On hearing this, Wu Qinjun's face flashed an awkward expression. He had never shown any irregular behavior in front of Yang, and he didn't know how Yang had figured it out. Truly impressive. No wonder Shangwan Shi liked her little sister so much. and Yang turned her gaze to Wu Qinjun. Brother Wu, do you like Sister Xiaoxi? Yes. And Yang was somewhat impressed by Wu Qinjun's courage to admit it publicly. It seemed that the elders in his family had not misjudged him. Wu Qinjun was indeed someone to whom one could entrust their life. And Yang nodded and smiled. So, would you like an opportunity to make a move now, when she's vulnerable? Wu Qinjun was stunned, not immediately grasping Yang's meaning. Yang pointed in a direction. Sister Xiaoxi went over there. You could go find her. Whether you can win Sister Xiaoxi's heart during this opportunity is up to you. Now Wu Qinjun understood, and Yang was trying to matchmake him with Shangguan Shi. Thank you. Wu Qinjun seriously said his thanks and then strode in that direction. If this worked out, he would definitely thank Yang properly. Du Jiao came over and nudged Yang's arm. Beauty, what kind of potion are you selling in your gourd? Yang smiled and said, probably matchmaking potion. She genuinely hoped that Shangguan Shi would find true happiness that belonged to her this time. As Shangguan Shi walked along, she suddenly saw a very familiar figure. That was Zuoling. Shangguan Shi was stunned. Wasn't Zuoling supposed to be busy with something? Why was he here? And the woman standing next to Zuoling looked somewhat familiar. Was that Li Tong? Working in the same department, Shangguan Shi had some impression of Li Tong. Why was Zuoling with Li Tong? Just as Shangguan Shi was about to approach Zuoling, at that moment, Zuoling suddenly took Li Tong's hand. Yes, he took Li Tong's hand. Shangguan Shi froze, her footsteps halting. What was happening? Just then, she heard Zuoling continue. Tong, I like you. I've liked you for a long time. What? Shangguan's eyes face turned pale, her blood running cold at that moment. Was she hallucinating? Li Tong curved her lips into a smile, her gaze passing Zuoling and looking towards Shangguan Shi across from them. You like me? Isn't Shangguan Shi your girlfriend? You have a girlfriend. How can you say such things to me? Aren't you afraid Shangguan Shi will hear and get angry? Zuoling was stunned. He hadn't expected Li Tong to know about his and Shangguan's eyes relationship. But Zuoling quickly recovered, his expression filled with affection. Shangguan Shi? What is Shangguan Shi? She doesn't even compare to your little finger. Tong. The person I like is you. I want to be with you. Could you give me a chance? Li Tong raised her eyebrows. You shouldn't say that. You've been with Shangguan Shi for 3 years. If you don't like her, how could you endure her for 3 years? Tong, listen to me. I really don't like Shangguan Shi at all. I don't feel anything for her. The only reason I've endured her for 3 years is because she kept pestering me relentlessly. I was driven to a corner. That's why I reluctantly agreed to her. Otherwise, how could a country bumpkin like Shangguan Shi ever match up to me? Pestering relentlessly? So she was just a persistently annoying country bumpkin. That's just ludicrous. Shangguan Shi never imagined that one day she would hear such disheartening words about herself from Zuoling. Tears blurred Shangguan's eyes sight unknowingly. Li Tong continued, I don't see Shangguan Shi as that kind of person. How can you prove what you're saying is true? Zuoling immediately held up 3 fingers. I can swear to the heavens. Li Tong laughed. If swearing were effective, then there wouldn't be so many heartbreakers in this world. How do I know you're not lying to me? Besides, I heard you've already proposed to Shangguan Shi. This Li Tong was indeed the factory director's niece. She had quite the intelligence network. She even knew about that. At times like this, instead of denying everything, it might be better to just admit it openly. Perhaps Li Tong might even admire him more for it. Zuoling said, Actually, the proposal wasn't really my intention. I just wanted to placate her. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come without even preparing a ring. Tong, you know what? I just took a ring made of wild grass. She still agreed. Can you believe it? Shangguan, she must be a fool. Ha. Li Tong chuckled. Then she really is a fool. Shangguan, she treated Zuoling like a treasure, but in his eyes, she was even less than grass. What else is that if not foolishness? Hearing this, Shangguan, she could no longer bear it, and turned around and walked away. She was too heartbroken, not even watching where she was going, and bumped directly into a wall of people her tears instantly staining the person's clothes. What's wrong, Shangwan Xiaoxi? Who bullied you? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1047, Confession, Part 7. Hearing the familiar voice, Shangwan, she couldn't control herself anymore and hugged his waist directly. She burst into a loud cry. The feeling was like that of a child who had been wronged, suddenly seeing an adult from home. All the grievances were infinitely magnified at that moment. Wu Chunjun froze, not knowing what to do. He said, "Tell me, who bullied you? They'll go get revenge for you." Not only did Shangwan she not answer Wu Chunjun, but she cried even louder. There weren't many reasons that could make Shangwan she cry, so heartbroken. It must be because of some pretty-faced boy. With slightly furrowed brows, Wu Chunjun looked up ahead. Sure enough, he saw Zhuo Ling not far away, laughing and chatting with another woman. This pretty-faced boy, having Shangwan she so good and not cherishing her, actually want to flirt with other women. Wu Qinjin's eyes filled with anger. Is it Zhuo Ling, that pretty-faced boy who bullied you? Wait, he'll go beat him up right now. Daring to bully Shangwan Shi. He doesn't see whose woman Shangwan Shi is. Wu Chunjun released Shangwan Shi and strode over towards Zhuo Ling. Don't go. Shangwan Shi reached out and grabbed Wu Qinjin's hand. Wu Chunjun could easily have brushed off Shangwan Zai's hand, but he just couldn't. His hand felt electrified, tingling all over. Don't go. Shangwan Shi choked up. Could you take me away from here? She didn't want to face Zhuo Ling, nor did she want Zhuo Ling to see her in such a sorry state. She just wanted to leave this place immediately. Okay. Wu Chunjun gripped Shangwan Zai's hand firmly, shielding her in his arms and using his suit jacket to cover her face, striding toward the exit. Passers-by looked on curiously, but none saw Shangwan Zai's discomposure. Wu Chunjun escorted Shangwan Shi to the car. Where do you want to go? Shangwan Shi shook her head. I don't know. Zhuo Ling was her first love, and the one she wanted to marry ideally. The sudden turn of events made her feel as if her world had collapsed. The whole world turned dark. Wu Chunjun reached out and ruffled Shangwan Zai's hair. It's just a man, isn't it? Shangwan Xiaoxi, are you that frail? I remember the old you wasn't like this. Shangwan she glared at Wu Chunjun, her voice still thick with tears. What do you know? You've never been in love. How do you know I've never been in love? Wu Chunjun countered. Shangwan she was taken aback. Have you? It made sense after all. Wu Chunjun had been abroad for so many years. How could he have never been in love? Wu Chunjun smiled and handed Shangwan Shi a tissue. Want to wipe your tears? You're stronger than me. At least you once had love, while I never even had that. There was a trace of forlornness in the depths of Wu Chunjun's eyes. Shangwan she casually wiped her eyes. What do you mean? Wu Chunjun fell silent. I mean, it's about being secretly in love. Shangwan Xiaoxi, after all these years, how can you still be as clueless as before? His remark was ambiguous. Everyone around him could see that he liked Shangwan Shi, except for Shangwan Shi herself. In fact, Shangwan Shi really hadn't noticed. You have someone you secretly like? Wu Chunjun was handsome, well-educated, from a good family, and had studied abroad. Shangwan she thought he surely wouldn't lack girlfriends. It was unimaginable that Wu Chunjun had someone he secretly admired. Truly incredible. Wu Chunjun said with a smile. You can have a boyfriend. Why can't I have someone I secretly admire? Shangwan she sniffled. I didn't mean that. My point is your standards are so high. What kind of girl wouldn't be satisfied with you? Wu Chunjun sighed. I also want to ask her what she doesn't like about me, so I can change. Unfortunately, she doesn't even want to give me a chance to change. Shangwan she sighed too. Wu Chunjun, you are so pitiful. Compared to her, Wu Chunjun indeed seemed to be a lot more pitiful. This comparison made Shangwan she feel a bit more balanced in her heart. It seems that in this world, she wasn't the only pitiful person. I'm so pitiful. Does it make you feel a little better? Wu Chunjun turned his head to look at Shangwan Shi. Shangwan Shi paused for a moment, then said, Wu Chunjun, you're not making up this story just to comfort me, are you? Do I look like that great of a person? Wu Chunjun retorted. It seemed, not really. Wu Chunjun continued, I'm serious. Do you want me to go beat up that pretty boy? There's no need. Shangwan, she shook her head. Wu Chunjun frowned slightly. You still have illusions about him? That made sense. 3 years of a relationship was not something you could let go of just because you said so. A mysterious expression surfaced in the depths of Wu Chenjin's eyes. It felt like he was a little short of breath. Upon hearing this, Shangwan, she immediately denied. How could that be possible? I'm not an idiot. After all Zhuo Ling has done, why would I still harbor any illusions about him? Why wouldn't you let me beat him up then? Wu Chenjun countered. Shangwan, she said, because I'm afraid he'll dirty your hands. For a scumbag like him, it's not worth it at all. Shangwan, she had a clear sense of love and hate. At this point, she had completely given up on Zhuo Ling. Her family was right. A person with character issues like Zhuo Ling simply didn't deserve her. She deserved better. Now, she regretted not listening to her family earlier and leaving Zhuo Ling sooner. At the same time, Shangwan, she was also thankful that she had uncovered Zhuo Ling's true colors early. If she had found out after getting married, it wouldn't have ended well. Thinking back, she realized how foolish she had been. To be deceived by Zhuo Ling so completely, she should have realized long ago that Zhuo Ling had ill intentions. Wu Chenjin's eyes lit up as if he had come back to life. Are you speaking truthfully? Shangwan, she nodded. Of course it's true. Wu Chenjun then said, if it's the truth, then why are you crying? 3 years. I wasted 3 years with him. My heart isn't made of stone. How could I not have any reaction? That was the prime of her youth. Wasting 3 precious years on a scumbag like Zhuo Ling. How could Shangwan, she not feel upset? Wu Chenjun was still a bit worried. What if he turned over a new leaf? Would you forgive him? No. Shangwan, she said firmly. A scumbag is a scumbag. Even if he's reborn, as long as he still Zhuo Ling, I will never forgive him. A smile slowly appeared on Wu Chenjin's lips. Really? Happiness came so unexpectedly. He couldn't believe it. What should he do? Of course it's true. Shangwan, she affirmed resolutely. Having known Shangwan, she for so many years, Wu Chenjun knew well that she was a woman of her word. Since Shangwan, she was so certain she definitely wouldn't rekindle the past flame. That meant his chance had arrived. Wu Chenjun started the car. Shall I take you home now? Shangwan, she shook her head. I don't want to go home right now. Wu Lao-san, let's go for a drink. Can we go to Blue Night Bar? No matter the era, there's never a shortage of nightlife. By 85, Beijing already had several bars. Wu Chenjun thought for a moment. Are you sure you want to go to the bar? Shangwan, she nodded. I've never been to a bar my entire life. Can you take me just this once? Wu Chenjun hesitated, then nodded. All right. Bars in the 80s were a bit different from those in later years. Bars of later times were glitzy and extravagant. At present, bars were simply places for drinking, not only orderly but also quite elegant, open even during the day. Shangwan, she ordered 2 pitchers of beer in one go. At first, it was fine, but after a couple of glasses, she started crying while drinking. Usually prim and proper, Shangwan, she became a different person when drunk, hugging Wu Chenjun and cursing out Zhuo Ling. Wu Chenjun just played along with her antics and joined in the cursing. Meanwhile, Ai Yang and Du Jiaojiao were still picking out clothes. Du Jiaojiao was a shopping guru, and in no time, she was carrying 7 or 8 bags. Ai Yang also selected a Chong Sam for herself, along with a coat and a down jacket, and bought a set for each of the 3 elders, her parents, and little Ai Yun at home. The beauty, Xiaoxi, hasn't returned yet. Are you sure she's all right? Du Jiaojiao was a little worried about Shangwan Shi. She has Wu Chenjun with her. She'll be fine. Wu Chenjun grew up with Shangwan Shi since childhood, and he was a gentleman. And Ai Yang wasn't worried about Shangwan Shi at all. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1048. Grandpa Du is furious. Do you no longer wish to live? 8 updates. Du Jiaojiao nodded her head. It's getting late. Let's go for dinner. Sure. After all, N.I. Yang's task was already fulfilled. This way, Du Jiaojiao linked her arm with N.I. Yang's. N.I. Yang pointed in another direction. That way seems to be closer. Du Jiaojiao said, My younger brother is waiting for me over here. Is your big brother here, too? Du Jiaojiao said. He originally didn't want to come, but since he hasn't left the house for several days and I find shopping by myself too boring, I dragged him along. In reality, having the eldest Du around was the same as not having him around, because he hardly walked a few steps with Du Jiaojiao. There was a rest area inside the department store. With the new year approaching, the area was filled with people. Yet Wu Yinyun spotted Elder Du at a glance. He was sitting amidst the crowd, with one hand holding Buddhist scripture, the other turning a page. His pale palm was adorned with Buddha beads that, maybe due to being worn for a long time, were smooth to the point of shining like bright night pearls, dazzling under the light. Wu Yinyun was momentarily startled, then turned to look at her reflection in the mirror. Today she was wearing a white down jacket and small leather shoes. Her hair was tidy, her face was clean, and after some time spent on self-care, the sickly and gaunt Wu Yinyun of the past was gone. Now, reflecting off the glass, was a completely transformed Wu Yinyun. She and N.I. Yang were blood sisters, and she didn't think she was much less attractive than N.I. Yang at this point. So now, Wu Yinyun had enough confidence to greet Elder Du. Wu Yinyun turned slightly, preparing to walk over to Elder Du, but at that moment, she froze, because someone had beaten her to it. It was N.I. Yang. Again, it was her. Was she doing on purpose? A layer of anger surfaced in the depths of Wu Yinyun's eyes. Doesn't N.I. Yang already have a boyfriend? Why does she always crowd around Elder Du? Does she really think of herself as some kind of fairy that all the men in the world have to like her? Wu Yinyun clenched her fists so hard her face turned white with rage. Over here, Du Jiaojiao, still arm in arm with N.I. Yang, said, I'm going to have dinner with the great beauty. Are you coming? Two girls go to eat together. If there was any private talk, having a man like him around was inappropriate anyway. Elder Du raised his eyes slightly. I'm not hungry. You two go ahead. Are you sure you're not going? Du Jiaojiao asked. Elder Du shook his head. No, I'm not going. All right then. Du Jiaojiao didn't press further. Well, the beauty and I are leaving. Go ahead. After saying this, Elder Du added, By the way, where are you going to eat? I'll have the driver come pick you up later. And Ai Yang said, No need to trouble yourself. They'll take Sister Jiao back after we eat. Elder Du didn't stand on ceremony either. Watching N.I. Yang and Du Jiao leave, color finally returned to Wu Yinyun's face as she trotted over to Elder Du. Mr. Du, Elder Du frowned slightly. And you are? He had always had a poor memory for people who were irrelevant to him. At his words, Wu Yinyun felt a moment of dejection. She had met Elder Du several times already, yet he still didn't remember her. Was she really that unremarkable? I am Wu Yinyun, she said. Oh, having been reminded, Elder Du seemed to recall, You're N.I. Yang's younger sister. Elder Du couldn't remember Wu Yinyun's face, but he did remember her name, because N.I. Yang had mentioned it more than once in front of him. N.I. Yang's younger sister? Wu Yinyun lightly bit her lip as a surge of indignation rose within her. In Elder Du's mind, was she merely the existence of N.I. Yang's younger sister? No, she wasn't N.I. Yang's younger sister, nor was she an accessory to anyone else. She was herself. She was Wu Yinyun. This time, she was determined to make Elder Du remember her clearly. I'm not N.I. Yang's younger sister. That kind of person doesn't have the right to be my sister. Du Grandpa slightly frowned, a surge of nameless anger suddenly rising in his heart. But his face remained as gentle as ever as he sized up Wu Yinyun with a cool tone. Ugliness breeds mischief. Ugliness breeds mischief. In an instant, Wu Yinyun was stunned. Du Grandpa's words felt like a bucket of cold water had been poured over her face, leaving her humiliated and furious. She had never imagined that Du Grandpa would say such a thing to her. Shouldn't Du Grandpa be asking her why she said those things about N.I. Yang? Wu Yinyun had even prepared her defense in her mind. If Du Grandpa asked her, She would expose the Enai family's contemptible acts of gender preference. Let everyone know Enai Yang and the Enai family's deeds. Then see if Enai Yang would still have the face to appear before Du Grandpa. But he didn't. Not only did Du Grandpa not ask anything, but he also uttered hurtful words without the slightest concern for her dignity. However, judging by Du Grandpa's demeanor, she knew him not to be a man who cannot distinguish right from wrong. Could it be that Enai Yang had poisoned Du Grandpa's mind against her? Yes, it must be so. Previously, Du Grandpa had been very polite to her, and if Enai Yang hadn't said anything, Du Grandpa would not have suddenly turned like this. What on earth did Enai Yang want? She was the victim, the child who had been abandoned, and she had hardly done anything till now, but Enai Yang wouldn't let her go. Why? No, she couldn't let Du Grandpa misunderstand her any longer. Chasing after Du Grandpa, Wu Yinyan stepped outside. Mr. Du. Wu Yinyan grabbed the hem of Du Grandpa's long robe. Respect yourself. Du Grandpa flung Wu Yanyan's hand away. Unprepared and on the slippery, snowy road, Wu Yinyan tumbled to the ground. Quite embarrassingly. But Wu Yinyan couldn't care about that now. She just wanted to expose Enai Yang's true face to Du Grandpa. Mr. Du, you must not be deceived by Enai Yang. She's a person with double standards. I am her biological sister, born from the same mother. Yet because they favored boys over girls, they abandoned me. Later, when Enai Yang knew for sure I was her sister, she hid it on purpose for fear I would take the Enai family's property. And moreover, she deliberately appeared before you. She wanted to seduce you. Yet she already... Just then, Wu Yanyan's voice suddenly got stuck in her throat, as if someone had pressed pause. Because Du Grandpa's hand suddenly gripped Wu Yanyan's jaw, tightening progressively while his slender knuckles turned white. The force was so great that pain twisted Wu Yanyan's facial features. Do you want to die? Although he was a follower of Buddhism, at this moment, he was enshrouded in a sinister aura, instilling a deep fear from bones. Too terrifying. Having known Du Grandpa for so long, Wu Yinyan had never realized he had this side to him. Just when Wu Yinyan felt she was about to die, Du Grandpa gradually released his grip. Wu Yinyan watched Du Grandpa's fading back in a daze, gasping for air. After a long while, Wu Yinyan got up from the ground and walked home. Once home, Wu Yinyan hid in her room under the blanket and sobbed her heart out. It wasn't until dinner time that Wu Yinyan came out of her room. Yan Erju was startled to see Wu Yanyan's spiritless appearance. Xiaoyan, what's wrong with you? You're so pale. Are you feeling unwell? Wu Yinyan shook her head. Mom, I'm fine. Just have a bit of a headache. Maybe I caught a cold while wandering the mall this afternoon. Yan Erju followed up. Let's go to the hospital and have a look. No need. It'll be fine after eating and getting some sleep. Yan Erju frowned. If you're not feeling well, you must tell us. Okay. Wu Yinyan nodded. After Wu Jinshu returned home, Yan Erju told him about Wu Yinyan feeling unwell. Wu Jinshu worriedly suggested, shall we go check on Yinyan now? A headache is no joke. Okay. The couple approached Wu Yanyan's bedroom door and knocked for a long time, but there was no response from inside. Fearing that Wu Yinyan might be in trouble, they found a key and opened the door. They saw Wu Yinyan lying on the bed, her face abnormally red, lips covered with layers of white film. Yan Erju touched Wu Yanyan's head and exclaimed, My God, she's burning up. Yinyan is running a fever. Wu Jinshu said, They'll go and get the bicycle ready. You help Yinyan put on a coat, and let's rush her to the hospital. All right. As the Wu family's house was ideally located close to the hospital, the couple pushed the bike, and in about 20 minutes, they had taken Wu Yinyan to the hospital. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1049, Break Up with the Scumbag. 9 more. After the doctor's examination, it turned out to be a viral cold. Nothing serious. A couple of 4 saline drips and some medicine would do the trick. Hearing this, Wu Jinshu and Yan Erju breathed a sigh of relief. On the other side, After drinking, Shangwan Shi and Wu Chenjun returned home. It was already nearing midnight. As if knowing that Shangwan Shi would return late tonight, the gates to the Ni family household were left open. Just as Wu Chenjun's car pulled up to the gate, Ni, Cuihua, and Shangwan Dehui walked out from inside. Uncle, Annie, Wu Chenjun helped a completely inebriated Shangwan Shi out of the car. Is Xiaoxi okay? Ni Cuihua asked worriedly. Wu Chenjun, feeling somewhat embarrassed, replied, She's fine, just had a bit of beer. I'm sorry, Uncle and Annie, I didn't keep an eye on her. Shangwan Dehui smiled and said, It's okay. Yang Yang has already explained the situation to us. Chenjun, thank you for being there for Xiaoxi at this time. At times like this, compared to family, Wu Chenjun, who grew up with Shangwan Shi, was more suited to be by her side. There are things one can't say in front of family, but there are no such taboos with friends. Moreover, from a selfish point of view, Shangwan Dehui was very satisfied with this young man he had watched grow up. Ni Cuihua helped Shangwan Shi into the house. Shangwan Dehui stayed back to chat with Wu Chenjun for a few moments. The hangover was truly unpleasant. When Shangwan Shi woke up, it was already past 10 the next morning. Thinking back to yesterday, it felt like a dream. When she thought of Zhuoling again, Shangwan Shi felt not just a tinge of sadness, but more so anger. What a scumbag. She hadn't expected him to be such a person. Shangwan Shi freshened up, got dressed, and headed downstairs. Good morning, Sister Xiaoxi. Ai Yang greeted Shangwan Shi with a smile as she sat at the dining table. Good morning, Yang Yang. Thinking of yesterday's events, Shangwan Shi felt something was off. Yang Yang, did you already know about Zhuoling? It couldn't have been such coincidence. Now that she thought about it, there was no reason for Ai Yang to have her buy pear soda out of the blue. And after she and Wu Chenjun left the mall, Ai Yang didn't page her either. Ai Yang didn't deny it and nodded. Li Tong is my friend. What? Shangwan Shi looked at Ai Yang in surprise, unable to react for a moment. What was this situation? Li Tong was actually Ai Yang's friend. Ai Yang recounted the whole story. She had known for a long time that Zhuoling was unscrupulous, which is why she had Li Tong test him, never expecting Zhuoling to actually fall for it. Hearing this, Shangwan Shi sighed endlessly. She wasn't unreasonable. She knew Ai Yang did this for her own good. She not only did not blame Ai Yang, but also wanted to thank her. If it weren't for Ai Yang, she would still be in the dark about Zhuoling. Yang Yang, thank you. Ai Yang smiled and said, We're sisters for. Oh, and Sister Xiaoxi, don't be mad at Li Tong. She did what she did at my request. Shangwan Shi nodded. Don't worry, Yang Yang, I won't be mad at Li Tong. I need to thank her too. This matter was also greatly helped by Li Tong. Ai Yang continued, Sister Xiaoxi, don't be too upset. A scumbag like Zhuoling really isn't worth your sorrow. There might not be lots of toads with 2 legs in this world, but there are plenty of men with 2 legs. Right, Shangwan Shi nodded again. I understand, and not upset. Shangwan Shi wasn't upset about Zhuoling. She was saddened by the lost 3 years of youth. Now, she only regretted not having seen Zhuoling's true colors earlier. Seeing that Shangwan Shi was in good spirits, Ai Yang also let out a sigh of relief. She had been worried about whether Shangwan Shi would get over this hurdle. Now, it seemed that Shangwan Shi was much stronger than she had imagined. By the way, Sister Xiaoxi, when do you plan on breaking up with Zhuoling? Just then, the voice of the nanny filled the air. Xiaoxi, you have a phone call. Since there were elderly people at home and Ni Cuihua was busy with work, Ai Yang had hired 2 nannies from outside. Who is it? Shangwan Shi turned and asked. It seems to be your boyfriend. The nanny had been working in the Ni family for more than a month and often received calls from Zhuoling Shangwan. She walked over and picked up the receiver. Hello? Zhuoling's voice came from the other end. Hello. Xiaoxi, I'm really sorry about yesterday. My mom had another episode, so I had to rush to the hospital, but I'm free today. How about we go watch a movie? Zhuoling was very frustrated. Yesterday, he confessed to Li Tong, but to his surprise, Li Tong rejected him. She even said he was a toad lusting after a swan's flesh. But it was clearly Li Tong who seduced him first, that wretched woman. If she weren't the factory manager's niece, he would definitely not spare another glance at Li Tong. To think she was something special. She doesn't even compare to 1/10,000th of Shangguan Shi. Luckily, he hadn't confessed to Shangguan Shi sooner, otherwise, it would have been all for naught. Listening to Zwiling's voice, a mocking look surfaced in Shangguan's eyes. Did this Zwiling really think she was still the same naive Shangguan Shi of the past? How ludicrous. Zwiling, let's break up. What? Zwiling thought he must be hallucinating. Was Shangguan Shi breaking up with him? Shangguan Shi loved him so much. How could she break up with him? Xiaoxi, stop joking around. This joke isn't funny at all. Shangguan Shi said seriously. I'm not joking, Zwiling. How could a country girl like me be worthy of you? Upon hearing this, a shock went through Zwiling. He knew. He was finished. That scene from yesterday must have been seen by Shangguan Shi. Otherwise, she wouldn't have said such a thing. Xiaoxi, things are not what you saw. I can explain. It was all Li Tong, that wench. She seduced me first. Beep, beep, beep. The busy tone came through from the other end of the phone. Ah! Zwiling smashed the phone in anger. What's wrong? Lingling, what happened? Zwiling's mother rushed out of the room, looking anxious. Shangguan Shi broke up with me. Upon hearing this, Zwiling's mother rejoiced. That's good news. After all, you were ready to break up with her. Zwiling's mother had never liked Shangguan Shi anyway. Zwiling said furiously. But Li Tong didn't accept me. Li Tong rejected me yesterday. What? Zwiling's mother exclaimed in surprise. Li Tong actually rejected you? Didn't you say Li Tong liked you? What on earth is going on? Zwiling's mother was very anxious. She wanted to find Li Tong and ask about the situation personally. After all, Li Tong was a big catch. Without Li Tong, how would her son ever become a great factory manager? After a pause, Zwiling's mother continued, Lingling, don't worry. Maybe Li Tong is just testing you. She is, after all, the factory manager's niece with many responsibilities. Zwiling sighed. It's impossible now. There's no chance for me and Li Tong, because Li Tong made it quite clear yesterday. He couldn't possibly demean himself by pursuing Li Tong. So, he had to settle for second best and marry Shangguan Shi, but now, Shangguan Shi had broken up with him too. Zwiling's mother frowned. Is it really impossible? Did you offend Li Tong in some way? With someone like Li Tong, who's such a pampered rich girl, her temper is quite fiery. Why don't you go and sweet-talk her again? It's no use. Zwiling flung away his mother's hand. That bitch Li Tong was just playing me from the start. She never liked me. Zwiling had never been played like this his whole life. He felt like a fool. Zwiling's mother was terrified. Lingling, don't get angry, Mom spoke out of turn. It's her loss for not fancying you. When you make it big in the future, she'll regret it. Even though there's no Li Tong, you still have Lai Bao. In terms of family background, Lai Bao is certainly not inferior to Li Tong. In terms of family background, Chun Lai Bao was of course not comparable to Li Tong. But under the current circumstances, Zwiling's mother could only use this to comfort Zwiling. As a mother, she couldn't bear to see Zwiling so heartbroken. Enough. Don't talk anymore. Shut your mouth. Zwiling glared furiously at his mother. He looked petrifying. Zwiling's mother swallowed hard, afraid to upset her son further. Okay, Mom won't talk. And I, family. Upon learning about Shangguan Shi breaking up with Zwiling, old lady Shangguan's spirits lifted considerably. Finally, they had broken up. However, old lady Shangguan was still somewhat uneasy because Shangguan Shi and Zwiling had had a falling out once before but got back together not long after. Old lady Shangguan feared Shangguan she might pull a fast one on her again. Xiaoxi, you won't get entangled with that Zwiling kid again, will you? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1050, Wu Yinyun critically ill, 10th update. What else could I have to do with Zwiling? Unless a donkey kicked me in the head. Shangguan, she said with a smile. Grandma, rest assured, no more. Really? Shangguan, she nodded earnestly. I swear, if I'm ever stupid enough to be with trash like Zwiling again, may lightning strike me down. After receiving Shangwan Zai's promise, grandmother Shangwan finally breathed a sigh of relief. Shangwan Su, watching Shangwan Shi with a smile, said, Xiaoxi, you're finally thinking straight. When I knew you were dead set on marrying Zhuoling, it worried me so much I couldn't sleep for several nights. Shangwan Shi raised an eyebrow. Really? You care about me that much? You're being heartless now. When have I ever treated you poorly? All right, Shangwan Shi said with a laugh. Big brother, you're always the best to me. Shangwan Su was then satisfied. And Ai Yang raised his glass to Shangwan Shi. Sister Xiaoxi, congrats on escaping the wolf's den and being reborn. Also, hoping you'll find your ideal man soon. Speaking of an ideal man, I actually know one, Shangwan Su said thoughtfully. Ooh, and Ai Yang played along with Shangwan Su smoothly. Shangwan Su looked at Shangwan Shi. Xiaoxi, how about I introduce you to a particularly outstanding young man? No thanks. Shangwan Shi immediately waved him off. I'm really not in the mood to think about these things at the moment. After all, she had just ended a relationship. How could she possibly be ready to accept a new one so quickly? Since Shangwan Shi disagreed, Shangwan Su, as her brother, couldn't force her. After dinner, Shangwan Shi took her prepared belongings and then went to work. The moment she got off the bus, she saw a familiar figure. It was Zhuo's mother. Zhuo's mother was not alone. She stood there with a very plump young woman. Upon seeing Shangwan Shi, Zhuo's mother immediately said, There she is. Lai Bao, that's the shameless woman who tricked Ling Ling out of his bird's nest and watch. Indeed, the young woman standing beside Zhuo's mother was Chun Lai Bao. Shangwan Shi had already broken up with Zhuo Ling and naturally did not want to deal with Zhuo's mother's attitude. Just as she was about to bypass Zhuo's mother, the woman grabbed Chun Lai Bao's hand and blocked Shangwan Zai's path. Auntie, may I ask what the matter is? Shangwan Shi said as politely as possible. Zhuo's mother did not speak, and Chun Lai Bao, with her chin lifted, stared at Shangwan Shi. You shameless woman, hurry and return the things you gave to brother Zhuoling. What? Shangwan Shi was taken aback. Chun Lai Bao, hands on her hips and a ferocious look on her face. You look decent enough, so why always do such shameless things? The bird's nest was for brother Zhuoling's health, and the watch was a gift for his mother. It's really too shameful to even trick these things away. While being pointed at and scolded, Shangwan Shi wanted to get angry, but she dared not, because Chun Lai Bao was simply too fat, at least 300 to 400 pounds. How much did Shangwan Shi weigh? 98 pounds. Chun Lai Bao could pick her up with one hand. If it came to a fight, Shangwan Shi couldn't win against her, so at times like these, it was better to seek peace rather than conflict. Seeing that Shangwan Shi remained silent, Zhuo's mother stepped forward. I'm telling you, Shangwan Shi, stop playing dumb. Hurry up and return the bird's nest, and watch you tricked from Ling Ling. Now, Shangwan Shi understood a bit more. She took out the box of bird's nests and the watch from her bag. Is this what you're talking about? Since she had broken up with Zhuoling, she wasn't going to keep his things. She had intended to return them to Zhuoling after getting to her unit. Yes, that's it. Chun Lai Bao snatched the items from Shangwan Zai's hands. You're such a shameless woman to dare trick these away. Shangwan Shi was very angry, but she had to suppress the rage inside her. She hadn't dreamed that these items weren't even bought for her by Zhuoling, and she never expected that her family's words would come true. Now I'd like to correct 2 points. First, these items were given to me by Zhuoling. Second, I'm not a swindler. Chun Lai Bao rolled her eyes. If you weren't a swindler, would these things be in your possession? Just look at yourself in the mirror. Do you really think brother Zhuoling would give you things? Such a shameless person. Shangwan Shi ignored Chun Lai Bao and walked around them, heading toward her unit. If she couldn't provoke them, couldn't she at least avoid them? Yet just as she reached the entrance of her unit, there was Zhuoling waiting. Shangwan Shi simply ignored Zhuoling. Zhuoling hurried to keep up with Shangwan Zai's pace. Xiaoxi, listen to my explanation. Things really aren't like that. Please give me another chance. Get lost. Of course, Zhuoling wasn't willing to get lost. He thought to himself, since Shangwan Shi loved him so much, As long as he thickened his skin a bit more, she would definitely forgive him. Shangwan, she glanced at Zuoling. Zuoling, please keep your distance from me. I'm allergic to scumbags. If you keep this up, watch out. They'll call the police and accuse you of harassment. This is the workplace. Don't make it awkward for everyone. After saying that, Shangwan, she turned and left. Zuoling watched Shangwan's eyes retreating figure, opened his mouth to speak, but then sighed and headed toward his office area. Just as he walked into the office, he noticed his colleagues were looking at him with odd expressions. Could it be that they all knew about his rejection by Li Tong yesterday? That bitch Li Tong. Just then, the manager came over and patted Zuoling on the shoulder. Zuoling, pack up and leave early. Zuoling was stunned. Leave early? Leave early to go where? What do you mean? Zuoling looked at the manager puzzled. The manager said, it means that you've been fired. Fired? Zuoling couldn't believe what he was hearing. I haven't done anything wrong. On what grounds are you firing me? The manager continued. Someone reported that you've been having inappropriate relationships. Is that reason enough? The 1980s were not like the future. Going back a couple of years, engaging in inappropriate relationships would not only result in being fired from your job, but serious cases could even lead to imprisonment. Zuoling, I'm giving you face, and I hope you'll wise up. Take this opportunity to pack up and leave before we put this on your record. Once this was recorded, it would become a lifelong stain for Zuoling, and no company would hire him from then on. There's only to guess. It definitely had to be Li Tong's doing. Yet, Zuoling couldn't even vent his anger. Under someone's roof, one can't help but bow their head. Zuoling went to his desk, gathered his things, and then left carrying a cardboard box. None of his colleagues, with whom he used to be so close, were there to see him off. Life could be so ridiculous. At lunchtime, Shangwan, she made a point of finding Li Tong and thanking her. Li Tong looked at Shangwan, she in surprise. You're thanking me? She had broken up Shangwan, she, and Zuoling logically. Shangwan, she should have hated her to the core, right? And yet, she was thanking her. Shangwan, she smiled. You let me see Zuoling's true face. Of course, I have to thank you. She wasn't a fool. Li Tong, without any reserve, put her arm around Shangwan's shoulder. Shangwan, you're truly an Yang sister. Such clear thinking. I like it. To be deceived by a scumbag to this extent. Li Tong had thought Shangwan, she was a blockhead. Unexpectedly, Shangwan, she was so smart, not foolish at all. Relations between girls are very simple. After chatting for more than half an hour, they established a profound, revolutionary friendship. And after work, they even went out to eat dinner together. At the Wu family, Wu Yinyin had been taking cold medicine for 5 days, but rather than getting better, her cold had gotten worse. She had developed a ring of blisters around her mouth, bright red and frightful to behold. Moreover, because of tonsillitis, she couldn't eat anything solid and could only consume liquid foods, causing her to progressively lose weight. Her symptoms were becoming less and less like a common cold, but when she went to hospital for a checkup, the doctors all said it was just a cold. Xiaoyan, are you still in a lot of pain? Yan Erju looked at Wu Yinyun with reddening eyes. Wu Yinyun shook her head. Not only could she not eat, but she also couldn't speak. It was extremely uncomfortable. But to keep her parents from worrying, she could only say she wasn't in pain. Wu Jinshu hadn't been to the construction site for a day. Seeing Wu Yinyun like this, he was troubled. I heard Yang Yang is good at medicine. Why don't we have Yang Yang come and check on Yinyun? Upon hearing this, Wu Yinyun grabbed Wu Jinshu's wrist tightly, shaking her head vigorously. She didn't want it. Even if she were to die, she wouldn't want N.I. Yang's treatment. Wu Jinshu sighed. Yinyun, at a time like this, you shouldn't be stubborn. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ad redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1051. Solving difficulties, killing 2 birds with 1 stone, 11 more updates, don't want. She didn't want N.I. Yang's treatment. She just didn't believe that if there wasn't N.I. Yang, she wouldn't be able to live. Wu Yanyun's emotions suddenly became agitated, and she abruptly sat up, pulling out the 4 from her right forearm. Although she couldn't speak now, She could prove her determination through her actions to her family. Wu Jinshu and Yin Erju were startled. All right. They'll just tell Yang Yang not to come over then. Yin, don't be angry. Don't be angry. Hearing Wu Jinshu say this, Wu Yin finally calmed down and lay back on the bed again, exhaling deeply. She didn't know what was wrong with herself. It was just a viral flu, but it felt worse than someone suffering from tuberculosis. Was she really going to die? No, she wouldn't. It was just a flu. She would get better. She would get better. Wu Yin clenched the bed sheets under her, her eyes filled with determination. Yin Erju went to find a nurse. Wu Jinshu sat in front of the bed, sighing with worry. And Ai Yang had arranged to go shopping with Han Xiaoyu today. But after waiting a long time at the agreed place, Xiaoyu hadn't shown up, so she reluctantly drove to the Han family's home. Is Xiaoyu home? And Ai Yang knocked on the door. Yang Yang is here. Han Xiaoyu saw Ai Yang and apologetically said, I'm sorry, Yang Yang. Something came up at home, and I was so rushed that I forgot we had planned to meet today. And Ai Yang smiled and said, It's okay, but is everything okay at your place? Han Xiaoyu sighed. The factory closed down, and my parents are unemployed. And Ai Yang was startled, then remembered that with the progression of the era and the increase in private businesses, this period was indeed seeing the first wave of layoffs. It was also a time when many unemployed workers ventured into business, becoming the millionaires and billionaires of later generations. But for many, unemployment made life difficult. The Han family had 3 children, all dependent on their parents working at the factory. Now, with both parents unemployed, it was indeed woeful. I remember your dad was the factory manager, right? And Ai Yang said, Yes, Han Xiaoyu nodded. Now all institutions are cutting back on staff, and my parents were out yesterday looking for work, but found nothing suitable. It was mainly because Han's parents had high standards and ordinary jobs outside their interests. A thought flashed through Ai Yang's mind. I actually have 2 suitable jobs for your uncle and aunt. Really? Han Xiaoyu's eyes lit up. Really? And Ai Yang nodded. Han Xiaoyu smiled and said, Then come in and let's talk about it. If my parents hear this, they'll definitely be very happy. And Ai Yang followed Han Xiaoyu inside. As there were visitors, Han's father and mother graciously welcomed them out. Yang Yang is here. Hello, uncle and aunt. And Ai Yang politely greeted. This was Han's father's first meeting with Ai Yang. Are you Xiaoyu's classmate Ai Yang, who topped the exams? And Ai Yang nodded. Yes, uncle, that's me. Han's father, who had always heard Xiaoyu talk about Ai Yang, was finally seeing her in person today. After all, she was the top scholar, a status that in ancient times would have meant taking up a high official position immediately. Han's father said with a smile, Please sit, please sit. The home is modest, don't mind it. Han Xiaoyu went to make tea for Ai Yang. And Ai Yang continued, Uncle, aunt, I heard from Xiaoyu that you've been looking for work recently. Is that right? Han's father was initially stunned, then said yes. And Ai Yang said, I have a job here. Do you want to give it a try? Han's father's eyes brightened. Really? And Ai Yang nodded. Han's father then asked, What kind of work do you want to offer us? Do you think the 2 of us can handle it? I heard from Xiaoyu that, uncle, you were previously a factory manager, and aunt was in factory finance, right? Yes. And Ai Yang smiled and said, Then I will hire you as the factory manager and aunt as the finance manager. The factory was almost built, and the workers were mostly recruited, but they still lacked a factory manager and a finance manager. It just so happened that Ai Yang was worried about finding an experienced factory manager, which solved an urgent need for her. It solved not only Ai Yang's urgent need, but also the Han family's. It was a win-win situation. Helping oneself can also help others. Upon hearing this, Mr. Han was shocked. Yang Yang, you're not joking with me, are you? Factory manager? Mr. Han had never imagined that one day he would become a factory manager. Could one become the head of a factory that easily? Mr. Han felt that this matter was a bit unreliable. Although Ai Yang was the top scholar in the nation, she was only an 18 or 19-year-old kid. Could she really manage a factory? And Ai Yang shook her head with a smile. Why would I joke with you? Mr. Han continued. Then where is this factory you were talking about? What does the factory produce? And Ai Yang said, to be honest, the factory is my own. Her own factory? Not only Mr. Han was stunned, but so were Han Xiaoyu and Mrs. Han. Was she just boasting? Words alone aren't proof. So let's do this. They'll take you to the factory for a tour. And Ai Yang stood up. Considering her age, owning her own factory was indeed incredible. It was normal for Mr. and Mrs. Han to be skeptical. Thus, and Ai Yang decided to take them to Jinghua village to clear up their doubts. I'll go get the bicycle, Mr. Han said. And Ai Yang smiled. No need to ride a bicycle. I came by car today. Driving? Han Xiaoyu grabbed an Ai Yang's arm. Oh my God, Yang you drove here? Is it one of those four-wheel sedans? And Ai Yang nodded, yes. Han Xiaoyu swallowed hard. Han Xiaoyu had always known that Ai Yang came from a well-off family, but she had no idea it was to this extent. A sedan. Ordinary families found it hard to even buy a bicycle, yet Ai Yang already had a sedan. Mr. and Mrs. Han exchanged glances, also seeing disbelief in each other's eyes. Could the child be playing a trick on them? Only when they all followed Ai Yang out and sat in the ordinary-looking but luxurious sedan did they believe that Ai Yang was not lying. Han Xiaoyu, sitting in the passenger seat, exclaimed with excitement, Yang, you're so amazing. You can even drive a car. Oh my goodness. Don't laugh, but this is my first time in a sedan. Before long, the car entered Jinghua village. Han Xiaoyu asked, Yang, does your family live here? Yes, this is Jinghua village. Han Xiaoyu said in amazement. Your village is so nice. They even installed street lights. It's like the city, not like a village at all. Mr. and Mrs. Han nodded in agreement. Who would believe this was a rural area if they hadn't seen it with their own eyes? It wasn't long before they arrived at the factory. The factory had already been under construction for 2 months. The framework had already emerged because it covered a large area, making it look very imposing. There were about 10 more days to the New Year holiday, so the workers were working extra hard these days. And Ai Yang treated them so well, they couldn't let the New Year delay the construction schedule. Seeing Ai Yang coming, everyone greeted her enthusiastically. It was evident from everyone's attitude that Ai Yang was very popular. Uncle and Annie, this side is the production workshop. This side is the dormitory for the workers. This side is the canteen. And over here is the shower room. Seeing this scene with their own eyes, Mr. and Mrs. Han no longer had any doubts. Ai Yang then discussed her plans with Mr. and Mrs. Han. After all, Mr. Han had been a factory manager for over a decade and offered several valuable suggestions to Ai Yang. Meanwhile, the look in Mr. Han's eyes toward Ai Yang changed. Although Ai Yang was only a teenager, her knowledge and experience were far beyond that of her peers, even beyond what he could match. This was truly impressive. After they toured the factory, Ai Yang took Mr. and Mrs. Han to the Ai family home. Han Xiaoyu said, Yang, this is your house? Ai Yang nodded. Your home is really beautiful. There was heating in the living room on the first floor. Ai Yang took off her coat as they entered. Uncle and Auntie Xiaoyu, please have a seat. The nanny immediately went to make tea. Han Xiaoyu looked around the Ai family's living room, her eyes full of astonishment. She finally understood how Granny Lu felt when she entered the Grandview Garden. Ai Yang continued, Uncle and Annie, the factory is expected to start operations after the second month of the new year. Regarding the salaries, the factory manager will get 280 yuan per month, and the financial manager will get 98 yuan. Such high salaries. Mr. Han was taken aback. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1052, Meta Benefactor, 12 more updates. You should know that before this, Han's father's salary was only 128 yuan a month. Ai Yang's salary was nearly more than double the previous amount. Ai Yang said with a smile, this is just the starting salary. After half a year, it will increase by 100 yuan and another 100 yuan after a full year. After 15 years, there will even be a car reward. Ai Yang never skimped when it came to treating employees. Moreover, the greater the employee turnover, the greater the damage to a company. A truly good company has a very low resignation rate, practically none at all. Upon hearing this, Han's father's eyes widened in disbelief. Is that true or false? And Yang nodded. If you and Annie think it's suitable, let's find a time to sign the contract. Suitable. Of course it's suitable. With such good treatment, only a fool would disagree. At Yang's warm invitation, Han's father and mother stayed in the family house for dinner that evening. After dinner, Yang drove them home. That very night, Yang drafted the contract, and the next day, he went to the Han family's home to have the contract signed. After Yang left, Han's father looked at Han Xiaoyu with a loving face. Xiaoyu, you've really met your benefactor this time. Yang was so impressive that Han Xiaoyu also felt honored. That's right, I told you before, Yang is very amazing. Han's mother stood up and said, Yang has been gracious to our family. Our family must not forget this kindness in the future. Your mother is right, agreed Han's father with a nod. Han Xiaoyu smiled and said, Don't worry, Mom and Dad. Even if I forget someone, I won't forget Yang. Meanwhile, Wu Yanyan's condition was getting more severe, and she had fallen into a coma, which led the doctor to suggest a transfer to another hospital. Wu Jinshu and Yin Erju were very anxious, and they transferred Wu Yinyun to the city hospital overnight. The conclusion from the city hospital was also that it was a cold. With reddened eyes, Yin Erju said, How could it be a cold? If it were really just a cold, it wouldn't be this serious. As she spoke, Yin Erju turned to look at Wu Jinshu and continued, Why don't you go to Yang anyway? Wu Jinshu frowned, but if Wu Yinyun found out, who knew how she might react? Yin Erju said, We're losing her life here. Why care about all that now? All right, they'll go. Wu Jinshu went to the Ni family's house overnight. The snow was flying outside. When Yang opened the door, Wu Jinshu was covered with a layer of snow, including his eyebrows, which were all white. Yang almost didn't recognize him. Yang, Godfather, why have you come? Please come in quickly. Wu Jinshu followed Yang inside. Once inside, Yang poured a cup of hot milk tea for Wu Jinshu. Godfather, have some hot drink first to warm up your body. Wu Jinshu rubbed his frozen hands and immediately took the milk tea, drinking it in one gulp. Godfather, it's so late. You must have come to see me for something urgent? Yang said. Wu Jinshu nodded. It's about Yinyun. She's fallen ill. Yang, you must save her. Yang was taken aback. Godfather, don't panic. Take it slow and tell me. On the other side, Cehua and Shengwan Hui, hearing the noise, also came down from upstairs. After hearing the whole story, Cehua was very nervous. How is Yinyun now? She's okay, right? No matter what, that was her daughter. She couldn't remain unmoved. Furthermore, Cehua still felt guilty inside. Wu Jinshu sighed. The situation is very bad now. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come looking for Yang. Yang put down the cup and looked up at Wu Jinshu. Godfather, the reason you didn't come before was because Yinyun wouldn't let you, right? It could be heard from Wu Jinshu's words that Wu Yanyun's illness had been dragging on for a long time. If Wu Yinyun hadn't stopped him, Wu Jinshu and Yin Erju would not have waited until Wu Yinyun had already fallen into a coma before coming to find her. Thus, Yang could guess that previously, Wu Yinyun had stopped Wu Jinshu from coming over. Wu Jinshu was silent, because Yang had hit the nail on the head about the true circumstances. On the other hand, who would want to get involved in such a thankless task? If Yang saved Wu Yinyun and she recovered, what would happen if rather than being grateful, she blamed Yang for meddling in her affairs? Wu Jinshu sighed softly. Now, even if Yang truly ignored Wu Yinyun, he had no right to blame him. Forget it. They would think of other methods. Cehua was also stunned, having been preoccupied with worrying about Wu Yinyun. She had overlooked this point. Yang then said, Saving a life is urgent. Godfather, let's go. Wu Jinshu was startled. He hadn't expected Yang to come up with such a statement suddenly. He had even been prepared for Yang to refuse. Unexpectedly, Yang had agreed at this moment. And Ai Yang said with a smile, I am a doctor. In the face of life and death, I cannot remain indifferent. It also goes against my teacher's admonitions. Besides, our Ni family owes Yin a life. This time, it's as if I am returning what our Ni family owes her. A life for a life. It was fair. In doing so, it would also make Ni Tsuehua feel better, so she wouldn't always feel as though she owed Wu Yinyan something. Once there was a sense of debt in one's heart, it would become a burden, and Ai Yang didn't want Ai Tsuehua to feel burdened. Wu Jinshu's eyes reddened. Yang, thank you. And Ai Yang put on his coat, donned his scarf. Let's go. He'll go with you, said Ai Tsuehua. I'm coming too, said Shangwan Dehui. When several people arrived at the hospital and saw Wu Yanyan's condition, and Ai Yang was also taken aback, because Wu Yanyan's situation was quite serious. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, it would be difficult to associate her with the lively Wu Yanyan of before. And Ai Kuihua's eyes immediately reddened, and she leaned on Shangwan Dehui's shoulder, gently sobbing. It's okay, Daya. Yanyan will definitely be fine. Shangwan Dehui consoled her. And Ai Yang sat down to take Wu Yanyan's pulse. After a long while, she finally released Wu Yanyan's wrist, and Ai Tsuehua hurriedly asked, How is she, Yang? And Ai Yang said, Don't worry, it's not a big problem. That's good. And Ai Tsuehua breathed a sigh of relief. Then what's wrong with Xiaoyan? Yin Erju asked, and Ai Yang said, It's a viral cold caused by an allergic reaction. They'll give her some acupuncture first, and then after taking 2 doses of traditional Chinese medicine, she should be fine. Is it really just a cold? Wu Jinshu was somewhat surprised because the hospital treatment had not been effective and they had thought it was not a cold. And Ai Yang nodded. It's a cold, but it's quite different from a regular cold. It's a sequelae of external allergies, so common cold medicines are not only ineffective, but can also aggravate the condition. If it were any later, the problem would have been rather tricky. And Ai Yang wasn't exaggerating. If it had been delayed another day or two, and the virus had invaded the heart and lungs, Wu Yinyan would have been beyond saving. It was also her fate not to die yet. Yin Erju wiped her tears and said, This child is so stubborn. Your godfather has been saying we should have you come take a look, but she just wouldn't agree. Otherwise, it wouldn't have dragged on this long. Godmother, don't worry. I'm going to give Yinyan acupuncture right now. After the acupuncture, she could be discharged. I'm going to talk to Yanyan's chief doctor to see if he can arrange a sterile room for us. After all, this was in a hospital. If acupuncture were done recklessly in the ward, there could be a risk of infection. Wu Yanyan's chief doctor was an old doctor in his 50s. After hearing what Ai Yang had to say, he immediately arranged a sterile room for her. Finally, he asked, Young lady, is your name Ai Yang? And Ai Yang nodded, yes. So you're the divine doctor who cured Mr. Abner's mother's stubborn illness? Wow, I finally met the real person today. The doctor excitedly shook Ai Yang's hand. Mr. Abner's mother's illness had seen countless big hospitals, but no doctor was sure they could cure her. However, not long ago, Mr. Abner's mother unexpectedly recovered fully. This could be described as a medical miracle. And the person who cured her was just a girl in her teens named Ai Yang. From then on, Ai Yang was called the Divine Doctor by scholars in the medical field and became a legend in the field. Before Ai Yang could say anything, the old doctor continued, Right, Divine Doctor, when you do the acupuncture later, can I let our hospital's doctors observe and learn from the side? Ancient medicine is a legend of China. If it could be integrated with Western medicine, it would surely benefit mankind. A doctor's heart is benevolent. And Ai Yang was never a stingy person. Of course, no problem. The old doctor didn't expect Ai Yang to agree so readily and said stunned, Then thank you, Divine Doctor. They'll go tell everyone now. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1053. Completely give up, 13th update. Although Ai Yang was performing acupuncture on Wu Yinyan with many doctors standing by, she was not nervous at all. She remained as composed as ever. Her movements in inserting the needles were smooth and flowing, and from a distance, there was even a hint of an artistic martial flair. The doctors watching were dumbfounded. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, who would believe that a teenager could be so skilled? After more than 2 hours of acupuncture, Wu Yanyan's condition gradually improved, and her originally pale face started to turn rosy, with the blisters on the corner of her mouth also shrinking. While they hadn't completely disappeared, they were at least not as disturbing as in the beginning. Ancient medicine is truly miraculous. Our ancestors' legacy is indeed marvelous, isn't it? After the acupuncture session, Wu Yanyan was taken out, and N.I. Yang was surrounded by a group in the middle, answering various medical questions. Although she was younger than everyone present, her aura was not the least bit diminished. With confident eyes and sophisticated speech, she provided the most professional answers to the most complicated problems, earning everyone's genuine admiration. N.I. Yang's tone was neither fast nor slow, perfect for the doctors to take notes. One of the female doctors felt more and more familiar with N.I. Yang as she watched. "Little divine doctor, you're the national top scholar of this year, aren't you?" N.I. Yang had appeared on television 3 times this year, so anyone who had seen the news would have some impression of her. N.I. Yang nodded with a smile. Yes. The female doctor covered her mouth and exclaimed, "Oh my, I knew you looked familiar. So you're the national top scholar in Yang, right? My child adores you. Could you give me an autograph?" Of course. The female doctor was thrilled to death, passing her notebook to N.I. Yang. "Little divine doctor, please sign here. My child is taking the college entrance exam next year. Ever since he saw your news, he's been so much more diligent in studying, and even says he wants to be the top scholar too." As N.I. Yang took the notebook, she asked, "What's your child's name?" "Chun Haoren." "Haoren as in the great poet Meng Haoren." N.I. Yang nodded and wrote on the notebook. Through a decade of toiling over books under a cold window, all in hope of being honored on the list of success, wishing student Wang Haoren leaps through the dragon gate like a carp. December 20th, 1985. Signed, N.I. Yang. The characters N.I. Yang wrote were powerful yet unrestrained, impressively beautiful. The female doctor received the notebook with both hands. "Thank you, little divine doctor. Our child will be so happy to see this." "You're welcome," N.I. Yang said with a slight smile. When she returned to the ward, N.I. Yang was surprised to see N.I. Suihua and Shangguan Dehui standing outside, and asked, "Mom and Dad, why are you standing outside?" It was winter, and the corridor was so cold. N.I. Suihua sighed, looking somewhat upset. "Well, Yin has woken up. Has she started making a fuss again?" N.I. Yang spoke in an indifferent tone, her rhetorical question sounding more like a statement. N.I. Suihua nodded. Not only had Wu Yinyan made a fuss, but the words she uttered were particularly nasty, very hurtful. N.I. Suihua couldn't bear to hear them, and she thought that if N.I. Yang heard them, she probably couldn't bear them either. N.I. Yang's eyes remained indifferent. Let her fuss. What's out of sight is out of mind. After all, we don't owe her anything anymore. N.I. Yang had long been disappointed in this sister. Wu Yanyan's reaction after waking up was also within her expectations, so she was not surprised at all. Shangguan Dehui nodded. Yang is right. Daya, we don't owe Yinyan anything anymore, and you don't have to feel guilty either. Whether as her mother or as N.I. Yang being her sister, you both have done very well. You don't owe her anything. There's no need to always indulge her. In Shangguan Dehui's view, Wu Yinyan truly lacked any sense of gratitude. If she had even a shred of gratitude, she wouldn't have treated N.I. Suihua like this today. By now, N.I. Suihua had also come to a realization. From now on, she would act as if she had never given birth to this daughter. Just then, Wu Jinshu came out of the ward, his face filled with shame as he said, Yang, Dad Yang, Mom Yang, I'm so sorry. It's our fault for not raising our child properly." Even though Wu Jinshu had been mentally prepared, he still didn't expect Wu Yanyan's reaction to be so extreme. She was not only ungrateful, but turned out to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Aside from apologizing, Wu Jinshu could think of no other solution. Sigh. Just then, A vase was thrown from inside and smashed against the door. Crash! It shattered to pieces. Without a doubt, it was Wu Yinyun who had thrown the vase, and the situation inside the ward must have been very bad. Wu Jinshu's brow twitched, and his feelings of guilt intensified. And Aiyang shook her head and handed Wu Jinshu a piece of paper. Godfather, this is the prescription. I've written down the specific dosages and how to brew it. Just follow the instructions, and if you have any problems, you can contact me. She now had no relationship with Wu Yinyun, so whatever Wu Yinyun did, she wouldn't be upset. Sister or not, she wasn't worth it. Wu Jinshu said, Yang, thank you. I will talk to Yinyun and persuade her well. And Aiyang smiled and said, no need to persuade her anymore. You and Godmother raised Yinyun to adulthood, and both my mom and I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, Yinyun and I are not fated to be sisters, and she is not fated to be my mother's daughter either. From now on, it'll just act as if I don't have this sister. This was probably the first time Aiyang had spoken so harshly in front of Wu Jinshu. After a pause, Aiyang continued, but rest assured, I still hold firm to what I said before. You and Godmother will always be my godparents. After all, Wu Jinshu and Yin Erju saved Wu Yinyun, and that made them benefactors of the Ni family. Wu Yinyun could choose not to acknowledge that, but the people who saved Wu Yinyun could not go unrecognized. No matter what, one shouldn't live without a conscience. Wu Jinshu's eyes reddened, suddenly at a loss for words, and Aiyang was too sensible to the point where it made him feel guilty. If only Wu Yinyun could be a little sensible too, then he wouldn't be in such a difficult position. Actually, Wu Yinyun used to be very obedient and well-behaved. He didn't know when she had changed into what she was now. And Aiyang went on. Yinyun has just woken up, so it's not good for her to get too agitated. You should go in and calm her down. Nothing is more important than her life. We will be heading back. Wu Jinshu insisted on escorting Aiyang and her company out of the hospital. After getting into the car, Aiyang asked, Mom, now that Yinyun is no longer connected to our family, can you really let go of her? And Tsuwa looked out the window with a relieved smile. Just like you said, there's no mother-daughter fate between us. A melon forced is not sweet. Let it go. I've come to terms with it. Now that her heart was unburdened, and Tsuehua didn't owe Wu Yinyun anything anymore. It eases my mind to hear you say that. As time went by, the year end was rapidly approaching. Today was the 28th of the 12th lunar month, and the day after tomorrow would be Chinese New Year's Eve. Since the new year was just around the corner, and Aiyang had closed all of the Pure Jade Skin stores and gave all the employees a 10-day holiday. In addition, she gave them a lot of New Year's gifts. Even though Pure Jade Skin could earn a lot in a single day, she knew money was never-ending. To Chinese people, celebrating the new year is of utmost importance, and she didn't want the employees to think of her as an inhumane boss. Besides, there's no end to earning money. It doesn't matter if she earns a bit more or less. Additionally, the Heavenly Fragrance restaurant also ceased operation for 10 days. They would resume work on the 8th day of the new lunar year. During these days, Wu Yanyun's health also improved day by day. Yin Erju smiled and said, Yinyun, you owe a lot to Yang. Without her, you might still be lying in that hospital bed. At the mention of Yang, the smile on Wu Yanyun's face suddenly faded. If she hadn't meddled, maybe I would have recovered a long time ago. Yinyun, did I say something wrong? Wu Yinyun turned to look at Yin Erju. Mom, don't forget, Yang is just a doctor. Maybe all of this was a scheme she cooked up with the doctor. She wants me to be grateful to her. She wants me to forgive her. But Yang nearly cost her her life. Why should she forgive Yang? She would never forgive Yang. Yin Erju continued. Yinyun, you have too many misunderstandings about Yang. She's not that kind of person, and she would never do such a thing. It was her who did this. Wu Yinyun continued. Firstly, she wanted to kill me because she was jealous of me. She was afraid I would compete with her for the inheritance. Secondly, she wanted to use this incident to make me forgive her. It's simply killing two birds with one stone. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1054. She's just like a joke. Chapter 14. But Ni Yang never considered if she would care about the Ni family's businesses. Did Ni Yang really think they were the same kind of person? What a joke. Wu Yinyun now hated Ni Yang so much. Hated her to the bone. Because of Ni Yang's presence, she stole all the attention from those around her. Even the gentle and elegant Mr. Du was deceived by Ni Yang. What gave Ni Yang the right? In what way was she inferior to Ni Yang? Why did everyone stand on Ni Yang's side? Was this really fair to her? Yin Erju sighed helplessly. Forget it. I won't talk to you about it anymore. And you shouldn't be angry. Anyway, Yang Yang and her mother have already decided to cut ties with you. Even if you regret it now and come to your senses, it's too late. Wu Yinyun said, I'm the one who cut ties with them, not the other way around. They don't have the right to cut ties with me. Erju didn't continue the conversation. The room was just too stuffy. Wu Yinyun took a deep breath. Mom, I'm going out for a walk. Erju nodded her head. The snow had just fallen, and the air outside was refreshing. Wu Yinyun, looking at the pure white surroundings, felt her eyes slowly start to moisten. She felt like a joke. Her adoptive parents didn't understand her. Any sorrow in her heart had to be suppressed by herself. Maybe this was the difference between biological and non-biological. After standing outside for a long time, Wu Yinyun finally calmed down and headed back inside. A little while later, Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong, having finished their snowball fight, came back in, and the atmosphere in the Wu family warmed up a bit. Wu Yinyun watched Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong, suddenly envious of these two younger brothers. If she had been born to Yin Erju, it definitely wouldn't be like it was today. The new year was fast approaching, so today Ni Yang and Mo Chishan went together to the Mo family to visit the two elders. Knowing that Ni Yang was coming, Old Master Mo and Old Madam Mo had prepared a pile of fruit and a table full of dishes early on. As soon as Ni Yang and Mo Chishan entered the Mo family's gate, Mo Hudy dashed over from the side. Sister Ni Yang. Bang! Because of the sudden impact, Ni Yang staggered, nearly falling backward, but fortunately, a hand swiftly supported her waist, its slender fingers giving a gentle pinch there. It felt tingling like a mild electric shock. Ni Yang glanced back with a slight frown at Mo Chishan. Mo Chishan pursed his lips in a slight smile. Let's go inside. Shout I, you have to be careful next time. You almost knocked your future little auntie over just now. Mo Hudy tilted her head and laughed. Thankfully, little uncle was there to heroically save the beauty. Little girl. Mo Chishan reached out and tapped Mo Hudy's head. Ni Yang said, Shout I seems to have grown quite a bit taller again. Mo Hudy nodded vigorously. Right, Sister Ni Yang. Am now 1.50 meters. I grew more than 10 centimeters in the second half of the year. The heating in the Mo family's house was very warm, and as soon as Ni Yang entered, she took off her coat, which Mo Chishan smoothly took from her, draping it over his arm. Yang is here. Hearing the noise, Old Master Mo and Old Madam Mo came out from inside the house. Uncle, Auntie, Ni Yang greeted politely. You've lost weight. You're thinner again, Old Madam Mo said, holding Ni Yang's hand. Is it because you've been under too much stress lately? Ni Yang shook her head with a smile. No, maybe I just naturally don't gain weight. Another reason was dietary therapy. Having stuck with it for so long, how could there not be any effect at all? But in the eyes of the older generation, being able to eat well is a blessing, and being chubby is even more so. Therefore, Ni Yang didn't mention the dietary therapy. Old Madam Mo said, You look so skinny, those legs and your waist. Chishan could break it with just one hand. Yang, you need to eat more. Only by eating more can you put on weight. Mo Chishan's gaze was indifferent. Although Ni Yang looked thin, her figure was very well proportioned. Where she should be slim, there wasn't an ounce of excess fat. And where she shouldn't be slim, she wasn't the slightest bit underweight. Thinking this, a deep color pooled in the depth of Mo Chishan's eyes. and he quickly averted his gaze, suppressing the jumble of thoughts at the back of his mind, picked up a cup from the table, and downed the cold water inside in one go. During dinner, Grandma Mo kept piling meat into N.I. Yang's bowl. N.I. Yang, unable to refuse the kindness, would pass the uneaten portions into Mo Kishin's bowl. Whether she had touched them or not, all of it ended up in Mo Kishin's bowl. Mo Kishin wasn't picky and accepted everything wholeheartedly. Most importantly, he seemed to really enjoy it. Seeing the affection between the young couple, both Grandpa Mo and Grandma Mo felt relieved. After the meal, N.I. Yang and Grandma Mo chatted, while Grandpa Mo pulled Mo Kishin aside. "Dad, did you want to see me about something?" Without saying another word, Grandpa Zheng took out 2 cards from his pocket and stuffed them into Mo Kishin's pocket. "Take these." "What are you doing?" Mo Kishin was taken aback. "I'm giving you money." Grandpa Zheng looked at Mo Kishin as if he were looking at a fool. Mo Kishin helplessly handed back the cards to Grandpa Zheng. "Dad, I'm not short on money right now." "Nonsense." Grandpa Zheng's face hardened. Nowadays, young people need money for dining out, dating, attending concerts, watching movies. Doesn't each of these require money? I remember it's been a long time since your mother, and I have given you money, right? You rascal, why act with pretension with your own parents? Just say if you were short on cash. You can't expect Yan Yang to support you. At this, Grandpa Mo landed a kick on Mo Kishin's foot. "Dad!" Mo Kishin exclaimed. "Are you serious? I'm your own son," Grandpa Mo said proudly. "If you weren't my own son, you wouldn't enjoy this kind of special treatment." Mo Kishin, Grandpa Mo went on, "If you're running low on cash, just let me know. Don't even think about saving money when dating. Our family is wealthy, and you don't need to save. Take the money." "I really don't need money." Grandpa Mo glared at Mo Kishin, gruffly saying, "If you say you don't need money one more time, it'll break your legs." Mo Kishin, fine, he would just keep his mouth shut. The father and son were talking at the stairwell turn, and just at that moment, Xiao Yingying happened to be coming downstairs and saw everything. A sneer curled the corner of Xiao Yingying's mouth. This Mo Kishin was really too pathetic. How old was he? Still taking money from his family. Mud is mud. It could never be put on the wall. Xiao Yingying shook her head, shedding the sneer from her face, and walked past the 2 men. Seeing Xiao Yingying, Mo Kishin frowned slightly. "Why hasn't she left yet?" Grandpa Mo said indifferently. "It seems like Baichuan's aunt and uncle went abroad for a vacation, so she hasn't left yet. In the end, one more person is just another pair of chopsticks. Don't bother about her." Mo Kishin kept an impassive face and said no more. Xiao Yingying went straight to the living room and saw N.I. Yang there. The mocking look in her eyes, which had faded, now re-emerged. She used to be so jealous of N.I. Yang, but she wasn't the least bit jealous anymore. So what if N.I. Yang was pretty? Being beautiful didn't change the fact that she was marrying a loser like Mo Kishin. Xiao Ying didn't even want to greet them and left the Mo family's living room, just in time to run into Mo Baichuan and Zhao Jingrong at the entrance. "Cousin, Ying, where are you going?" asked Mo Baichuan. "I'm going to the department store to buy some stuff," said Xiao Ying, and, as if she had just remembered something, she pulled Mo Baichuan aside, lowering her voice arrogantly. "Cousin, let me ask you something." "Go ahead." Xiao Ying continued. "Chinese New Year is around the corner. Will Mr. Mog come here to celebrate?" Mo Baichuan sighed. "Ying, how many times do I have to tell you? I don't know Mr. Mog. I really don't." "Why did everyone think he knew Mr. Mog?" Xiao Ying said disbelievingly. "Cousin, stop lying to me. I'm your cousin." No matter if you beat Xiao Ying to death, she wouldn't believe that Mo Baichuan didn't know Mr. Mog. If Mo Baichuan didn't know Mr. Mog, then Mr. Mog wouldn't have brought a gift to Grandma Mo's birthday banquet. Did they think she was a fool? Xiao Ying went on. "Cousin, just tell me. I swear I'll keep it secret. I won't tell anyone." Knowing when Mr. Mog would come over, she could also dress up and prepare. "Ying," Mo Baichuan said with a frown, "stop messing around." Xiao Ying pouted. "Don't tell me then. It's not a big deal." If not, she would just dress up beautifully every day after the new year. That way, Mr. Mog would see the most perfect her. A faint smile crossed Zhao Jingrong's lips, her eyes filled with smugness. Perhaps Xiao Yingying could never dream that Mo Baichuan was Mr. Mog. She looked forward to seeing Xiao Yingying's reaction when she found out the truth. By then, the scene would certainly be very exciting. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1055, Boss Tricks Yang Yang, 15 updates. Zhao Jingrong became increasingly smug and walked up to Mo Baichuan, whispering softly, "Baichuan, let's go inside." Mo Baichuan nodded and followed Zhao Jingrong inside. Hiss! Just then, a sharp pain shot through Zhao Jingrong's hand. Why was he suddenly using so much strength? Zhao Jingrong turned to look at Mo Baichuan, only to see his gaze fixed on the sofa in the living room. There were two people sitting on the sofa. It was Ni Yang and Mo Qishan. Mo Qishan was peeling an orange for Ni Yang, who was eating it and talking to Mo Qishan, a faint smile spilling over her lips, her eyes clear and bright, dimples shallow, a beauty almost like jade. How beautiful was Ni Yang? Beautiful enough to make Zhao Jingrong, a self-important heiress, feel utterly astounded. Every encounter with her was dazzling. Ni Yang was so beautiful, and she was interested in Mo Qishan, that loser? Could it be that her intentions were not on the surface? Zhao Jingrong narrowed her eyes slightly, subtly withdrawing her gaze from Ni Yang and turning towards Mo Baichuan. She now had an intuition that Ni Yang had come for Mo Baichuan. Yes, it must be so. How could she do this? Ni Yang was shameless. Mo Baichuan was her boyfriend. She wouldn't allow anyone to steal him away. Zhao Jingrong tightened her grip on Mo Baichuan's hand, determined to keep a close watch on him from now on. Uncle Six, Mo Baichuan greeted Mo Qishan respectfully as he walked over. Uncle Six, Miss Ni, Zhao Jingrong also greeted, following behind. Mo Qishan lifted his eyelids slightly. Ni Yang nodded politely at Zhao Jingrong. Although there were some grievances between her and Zhao Jingrong, she was, after all, an elder, and elders naturally behave generously. Why bother with a junior? Zhao Jingrong smiled and said, "Miss Ni hasn't come with Uncle Six for a while, right?" "Yes," and Ni Yang nodded slightly. "Your Uncle Six has been busy lately. He only just found time at the end of the year." "Busy? Busy with what? Busy turning into a loser?" Those words. Only Ni Yang could utter them without biting her tongue. Zhao Jingrong almost laughed out loud, the mocking expression in her eyes growing more apparent. "Seems Uncle Six is indeed a very busy man," Zhao Jingrong said. Ni Yang was non-committal, as if she hadn't understood the implication in Zhao Jingrong's words. Zhao Jingrong continued, "I wonder what Miss Ni has been busy with recently." "Just casually keeping busy," said Ni Yang in a light tone. Zhao Jingrong smiled and said, "They say birds of feather flock together. Uncle Six is a busy man, and so is Miss Ni. But who stays busy just casually? Miss Ni must be busy with some great enterprise, right?" The sentence was laden with heavy irony. Other than being beautiful, what other merits did Ni Yang possess? Though she was the Zheng family's long-lost daughter, she was born a peasant, a true country bumpkin. How many notable ladies did she know in this circle? Compared with her, Ni Yang couldn't even match a single strand of her hair. Zhao Jingrong intended to make Ni Yang lose all face in front of Mo Baichuan thoroughly, to trample Ni Yang underfoot completely. Only thus could she ensure that Mo Baichuan wouldn't be seduced away by Ni Yang. Otherwise, Zhao Jingrong always felt uneasy. Ni Yang smiled faintly, lowering her eyes towards Zhao Jingrong, her dimples shallow. "Jingrong, let's go eat fish sometime. You seem quite good at picking bones." Eat fish? Ni Yang wanted to go with her to eat fish? Zhao Jingrong was initially stunned, then realized what Ni Yang meant. Her face turned alternating shades of red and white, quite unsightly. Ni Yang, this vixen, she dared to mock her. Although Zhao Jingrong was furious inside, she still maintained a smile on her face. Miss and I really has a sense of humor. And Yang's eyes and brows were clear and sharp. Jingrong, you're too modest. Jingrong is young and tends to speak out of turn, not a match for Annie Six. If she has been offensive, I hope Annie Six will show some mercy. Mo Baichuan intervened, trying to defuse the situation for Zhao Jingrong. Why was Ni Yang targeting Zhao Jingrong? It was just because Zhao Jingrong was his girlfriend. Ni Yang was jealous of Zhao Jingrong. Mo Baichuan knew Ni Yang too well. Everything she did was for him, including Ni Yang's visit to the Mo family today. It was because of him. Ni Yang must have known that he would bring Zhao Jingrong home today, so she came back with Mo Qixin. However, Ni Yang was still stubborn, not admitting she liked him. He really didn't know what she meant by playing hard to get. Ni Yang knew Mo Baichuan's character well. She knew he must have fantasized about something again. She was really having a tough time. Ni Yang rubbed her forehead, feeling somewhat headache. Mo Qixin spoke lightly. Nephew, if we were talking about age, Yang is even 5 years younger than your girlfriend. As a junior, she should act like one. Being young is no excuse for incompetence. That's true. Mo Baichuan swallowed his words. After his uncle spoke, Mo Baichuan continued. By the way, Uncle Six, Jingrong, and I are planning to get engaged after the new year, he said, sneaking a glance at Ni Yang. Ni Yang looked indifferent, as if there were no particular emotions on her face. But Mo Baichuan knew Ni Yang hid all her feelings inside. Hearing this, Ni Yang must have felt extremely uncomfortable. Mo Qixin paused. At the beginning of the year, I heard you two were planning to get engaged. Why hasn't it been settled yet? These words made Zhao Jingrong feel uneasy too, because at the beginning of the year, Mo Baichuan did mention it, but then he got busy with work and never brought it up again. Eventually, the matter was left unresolved. Now, Mo Baichuan brought it up again. Could it be that he was serious this time? Mo Baichuan smiled. Uncle Six is a good memory. I did mention it at the beginning of the year, but work got busy and it was put off. Now that I have time after the new year, we plan to finalize everything during that time. Zhao Jingrong's expression brightened. Great. She finally saw the light after the long wait. Then let me congratulate you in advance. Mo Qixin said indifferently. Thank you, Uncle Six. Feeling a bit suffocated by the atmosphere downstairs and Mo Baichuan's odd looks, Ni Yang turned to Mo Qixin. Brother Mo, shall we go up to the Sky Garden for a walk? Sure. Mo Qixin nodded. Mo Baichuan watched Ni Yang's retreating figure, his eyes full of mockery. Was she unable to handle just an engagement announcement? What would happen on the day he and Zhao Jingrong got married? Yes, Ni Yang would definitely reveal her true colors then. He was looking forward to that day. On the top floor of the Mo family house, there was a transparent glass house filled with many flowers and plants. Despite it being winter, the glass house was blooming with flowers. Seeing the beautiful plants, Ni Yang's mood instantly improved. After walking out of the Sky Garden, Ni Yang and Mo Qixin played games in a room on the 3rd floor. Because Ni Yang really didn't want to see that narcissistic Mo Baichuan. And with Zhao Jingrong speaking sarcastically and the new year approaching, Ni Yang didn't want to let insignificant people affect her mood. Mo Qixin held a game controller in one hand and picked up a cigarette with the other. Click! The lighter sparked, filling the air with a faint smell of smoke. Yang, do you want one? Mo Qixin smiled at Ni Yang. No, Ni Yang spoke indifferently. Smoking is bad for health, don't you know? Mo Qixin took a deep drag on his cigarette, then blew a beautiful smoke ring. Really don't want one? No. Ni Yang shook her head. Mo Qixin slightly raised his eyebrows. Before Ni Yang realized it, she was pressed down on the couch, a large shadow looming over her, his thin lips against hers, cool and tingling. He transferred all the smoke from his mouth into hers. The dense smoke hit her, and Ni Yang's eyes widened. He was too wicked, using this trick. It was a long while before Mo Qixin let go of her, his tone low, tasty, getting skillful. Ni Yang slightly raised her eyebrows. It's all thanks to the boss training. Mo Kishin's thin lips parted lightly. Your face is truly thick. And Yang reached out and pinched Mo Kishin's cheek. Mo Kishin wrapped his arm around her waist, resting his chin on her shoulder. Yang, how come I just like you so much? And Yang smiled. Men's mouths, deceiving devils. You like me now, but when I'm old and faded, perhaps you won't like me anymore. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1056, Grasshoppers After Autumn Are Not to Be Feared. Chapter 16 Update. Mo Kishin looked at Yang and said seriously, no matter when, I will never change my heart, unless you reject me first. Really? Yang slightly raised her eyebrows. Absolutely sincere. Heaven and earth can witness. Yang then said, I'm thirsty now. Can you go downstairs and bring up my teacup? Right away. Mo Kishin immediately rose from the sofa and headed downstairs. Yang had originally planned to return home in the afternoon, but after spending time with Mo Kishin, it suddenly became evening, so she ended up staying at the Mo family for dinner. Zhao Jingrong didn't go back either. Although old Madame Mo and old Master Mo did not like Zhao Jingrong, she was now Mo Baichuan's girlfriend, and since Mo Baichuan insisted on being with her, the elderly couple found it inappropriate to say anything. At the dinner table, Mo Baichuan brought up his engagement with Zhao Jingrong once again. Upon hearing this, old Master Mo looked up at Mo Baichuan. As long as you have thought it through, what about your parents? Have you talked to them? He didn't want to persuade anymore at this point, because no amount of persuasion would be useful. Children and grandchildren have their own fortune. As long as his son and daughter-in-law were fine, he, as a grandfather, was fine too. Mo Baichuan nodded. Don't worry, I have communicated everything with them. Old Master Mo said, as long as you have talked it through with them, just proceed with the arrangements when the time comes. Mo Baichuan was stunned for a moment, seemingly not expecting old Master Mo to be so easy to talk to. He thought old Master Mo would object. Zhao Jingrong sat shyly on the side, her heart sweet as if filled with honey. This was perfect. Finally, they had reached this day. Soon, she would be the envied Mrs. Mog. After the meal, Mo Kishin prepared to take Yang home. Just as the two of them were about to leave, Yang suddenly remembered she had left something upstairs. Thus, Mo Kishin went up to retrieve it while she went to the restroom. Coming out of the restroom, she was blocked by a tall figure. Yang frowned slightly, looked up, and saw that it was Mo Baichuan. Seeing Mo Baichuan, Yang felt overwhelmed. She didn't know why. Although she hadn't done anything, Mo Baichuan always thought she liked him, self-confident without any reason. Mo Baichuan looked at Yang and said, word by word, Yang, I'm giving you one last chance. I'm about to get engaged to Jingrong. By then, even if you regret it, it'll be too late. He was giving himself a chance and also giving Yang a chance. He didn't want Yang to have regrets. More importantly, he didn't want to have regrets himself. Yang was astute. Knowing that she was playing hard to get, yet he still fell for her irresistibly. Although Mo Baichuan didn't want to admit it, Yang had indeed achieved her goal. Mo Baichuan, let me emphasize seriously one more time, I have no interest in you, not even a cent's worth. I only like your uncle Mo Kishin. Only him. Saying this, Yang pointed to her head. If there's something wrong here, you should hurry to the hospital for a checkup. Don't fantasize all day. It's easy to develop a mental illness that way. Mo Baichuan's expression turned cold. Yang, stop pretending. Is there any point in keeping up this act? Aren't you tired? Resisting the urge to curse, Yang pushed Mo Baichuan away, her brow furrowed. Mo Baichuan, am now your uncle's girlfriend, and I will be your future aunt. Please show some respect in front of your elders. With that, Yang walked outside. Mo Baichuan was a martial artist, and not many people could push him. Yet Yang had done it, seemingly without much effort. Mo Baichuan watched Yang's retreating figure, licked his molars, his eyes filled with dangerous intent. If that was the case, he could only let En-ai Yang regret it herself. He would definitely give Zhao Jingrong an enviable, grand wedding. En-ai Yang arrived at the door just as Imo Chishin came down from upstairs. Yang, your bag. En-ai Yang took the bag and got into the car with Imo Chishin. Big brother Imo, I think your nephew has a problem. En-ai Yang had wanted to discuss this matter with Imo Chishin. After all, couples should be open and honest with each other, without any secrets. However, she was worried that if she spoke out, it might impact the relationship between Imo Chishin and Imo Baichuan. They say that beauty is a source of trouble, and she couldn't bear being a sinner. After careful consideration, En-ai Yang decided not to mention it. As long as she kept her distance from Imo Baichuan, that would be enough. Imo Chishin dropped En-ai Yang off at Jinghua Village. Yang, it's too late now, so I won't go in. Tomorrow morning at 10:30, they'll come to pick you up. Pick me up to go where? En-ai Yang asked, somewhat curious. The day after tomorrow is New Year's. Let's go to Brother Dust's place tomorrow and have a look, Imo Chishin replied. En-ai Yang curiously said, Isn't he going back to Shanghai for the New Year? He's not going back, Imo Chishin said. All right, En-ai Yang nodded slightly. I got it. Today was the 29th of the 12th lunar month, and the En-ai family was bustling with activity. Almost everyone had gathered around the stove to fry New Year's treats. Stuff like meatballs, radish balls, lotus root balls, and they had to steam the steam buns. This was the first time she had tried making these things by hand. She was making them while simultaneously chatting with En-ai Yang, and soon she had prepared a series of round, plump balls. Even Su was sitting with his sisters, kneading dough. Old Lady Shangwan and Old Lady Zheng were in charge of the stove, one tending the fire and the other frying the balls. En-ai Tsuehua and Shangwan Dehui had gone to rinse rice and wash vegetables. Close to the New Year holiday, not only had the factory workers taken time off, but the En-ai family's nanny had also gone home for the holidays. Old Master Zheng was outside in the yard making a snowman with little En-ai Yun. Old Master Zheng was usually quite serious, but he would instantly crack whenever he encountered little En-ai Yun. When Imo Chishin arrived, it was exactly 10:30, and upon seeing such a warm scene, he couldn't help but pick up his camera and take several photos. Yang, Imo Chishin called En-ai Yang. En-ai Yang glanced up, and Imo Chishin took the opportunity to press the shutter. A flawless 365-degree angle photo was taken just like that. Brother-in-law, I want a photo too. Little En-ai Yun huffed and puffed as she ran over, posing with a peace sign. Brother-in-law, I want a photo too. Duo, like a little parrot, flapped his wings and flew over as well. Once the photos were taken, Imo Chishin rolled up his sleeves and joined the team making the balls. En-ai Yang, surprised, said, I thought we were going to Brother Dust's place? Are we not going anymore? We'll go this afternoon. Oh, En-ai Yang nodded. After lunch, En-ai Yang and Imo Chishin left for the Du residence. You're going to Xiaodu's home, right? Here, take some steamed buns and lotus root balls with you. Old Lady Shangwan carried 2 bags to the car. Imo Chishin smiled and said, Grandma, you don't have to be so polite. You could buy these things outside. Old Lady Shangwan said, Can those bought outside compare to ones made by hand? Take them. You can't get homemade ones outside. Then thank you, Grandma. Imo Chishin took the bags with both hands. Old Lady Shangwan smiled and said, Why are you being so formal with me, child? Because of the New Year, the streets were very congested, with a festive atmosphere everywhere, except for the Du residents. Du Jiaojiao had returned to Shanghai for the New Year. Wang Ziki had also gone back to spend New Year's with his parents, and the remaining servants had taken leave as well, leaving old Mr. Du by himself. With the north wind carrying fallen leaves, the Du residence seemed exceptionally desolate. Upon entering, they immediately heard the sound of knocking on a wooden fish. En-ai Yang secretly sneered, wondering if this man really wanted to become a monk. How could he spend every day reciting scriptures and worshipping Buddha? Didn't he get bored? En-ai Yang was very curious how he persisted with it. A man in his 30s, yet living like a septuagenarian or octogenarian. Brother Du. Immerse drew aside the bead curtain and went in. Old Mr. Du put down the wooden fish. Peiji has arrived. Brother Du, it's too lonely here. Why don't you come back with me for the new year? Immerse suggested. Old Mr. Du fingered the Buddha beads. What's bustling and what's quiet to me, it's all the same. A good mindset leads to lasting happiness. While they spoke, they proceeded to the tea room. The smoke of tea curled up, shrouding their figures, making everything seem dreamlike and illusory. Tea shall replace wine when guests arrive on a cold night, with the bamboo stove boiling soup and fire glowing bright. While Immerse and old Mr. Du chatted, and Yang found a book on the shelf to read. She loved reading and had an interest in almost every book, gradually becoming engrossed in it. Even though she had read Dream of the Red Chamber many times before, each new reading brought different insights. A beauty rolls up the curtain, sitting deeply, knitted brows frowning in thought. Old Mr. Du, one hand holding Buddha beads, took a sip of the slightly bitter tea broth and said, Peiji, have you been paying attention to the southern part of town lately? From what I understand, that group of old fellows seems to be getting restless. Immerse lifted a teacup, just a bunch of struggling grasshoppers after autumn, hardly worth fearing. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1057, The Second Silly Dog Among Birds. Chapter 17, Uncle Du nodded. As long as you're aware, that's good. The two had a long conversation until Yang finished half of the book and Immerse called for her to go back. Yang stretched lazily and yawned. Are we going back now? Immerse reached out his hand toward Yang. Yang, out of habit, placed the book upside down on the desk and her right hand on top of Immerse's. Uncle Du saw them out. Immerse got into the driver's seat. Uncle Du, you should head back soon. It gets cold at night. Uncle Du nodded. Drive slowly on your way. Don't worry. It was at this moment that Yang suddenly remembered something and turned her head. Oh, Uncle Du, we brought some steamed buns and lotus root balls from home. I left them on the table in the tea room. The tea room is warm. It would be best to put them in the fridge when you get back. Okay. Uncle Du nodded. Then, we'll head off first. Yang waved at him. Uncle Du also turned to walk back into the house. Watching his desolate figure, Yang sighed softly. What do you think keeps Uncle Du from settling down? It's so lonely like this. Perhaps having experienced similar loneliness in a past life, Yang now feared loneliness the most, especially waking up alone in bed to find not a single person to talk to. It was terrifying. Immerse, holding the steering wheel with both hands, said, To each their own. We may think Uncle Du is very lonely, but that's not necessarily true. Yang nodded. That's true. If he really wanted to settle down, he wouldn't have married two beautiful wives just for show. After speaking, Yang added, Oh, why do Uncle Du and Sister Jiao Jiao both call you Peiji? In fact, Yang had wanted to ask this question for a long time, but never found the opportunity. Peiji answered, Peiji is my courtesy name. Courtesy name? Yang hesitated, then continued, like the poet Immortally Bai, whose courtesy name was Tai Bai. Immerse nodded slightly. Yes, Yang is really smart. Yang was about to flaunt her pride when the man followed up with two more words, Follow me. Yang. The next day was New Year's Eve. Last year's New Year's Eve was before Tsuhua and the elderly Master Zheng and Madame Zheng had acknowledged each other. So this year was their first reunion New Year. Yang was woken up early in the morning by Duo. It's New Year's. It's New Year's. Yang, get up. Yang said, somewhat speechless, You're a bird. What does New Year's have to do with you? Duo glared with his small eyes, defiantly saying, You're a bird. Your whole family are birds. Possibly due to spending too much time with people, Duo seemed to have forgotten his species. Yang narrowed her eyes slightly. You dog son, say that again. Duo fearlessly retorted. You're a bird. Your whole family are birds. Yang said with a smile. Good. You want to have lunch today? Yeah. Duo turned his backside toward An Yang. I'm not afraid of you. Great. You've completely lost your mother now. An Yang casually grabbed a pillow and threw it towards Duo. Duo agilely dodged the pillow. You're so dumb. Yang is so dumb. Yang is a big fool. An Yang, she must have been crazy to have adopted such a bird. Since she was already woken up by Duo, An Yang sat up in bed, grabbed some clothes, and went to the bathroom to change. The festive atmosphere in the countryside was very strong. After changing her clothes and going downstairs, An Yang heard bursts of firecrackers. In the dining room, everyone had already started eating breakfast. Shangguan Shi, upon seeing An Yang, smiled and said, Yang, you're up, come and eat. After breakfast, let's go to the fields and pick some roses to decorate the house. Now, not a trace of Shangguan Zai's heartbreak could be seen. An Yang nodded. Okay. After eating, the sisters took their baskets and went to pick roses. As soon as they stepped out the door, they saw a small sedan parked at the entrance, with Wu Chunjun getting out of the car. Shangguan Xiaoxi, little sister Yang, where are you guys planning to go? Shangguan, she exclaimed in surprise. During the New Year's holiday, why aren't you staying at home, but coming to our house instead? Wu Chunjun smiled and said, what else could I be doing? Of course, I came here to celebrate the New Year with your family. To celebrate the New Year with our family? Shangguan Zai's eyes widened. Wu Chunjun nodded. Don't you welcome me? Shangguan, she was speechless. Don't you have your own home? Why come over to celebrate at mine? Wu Chunjun straightened his face. My parents took my grandparents to Bansai Island to escape the cold, and now I'm the only one at home, so they told me to come celebrate the New Year with your family. Shangguan, she frowned slightly. Really? Just at that moment, Shangguan Dehui came out from the yard. Chunjun is here. Come on in. Old lady Shangguan followed behind with a smile. We were just talking about you. And here you are. With a surprised face, Shangguan, she said, Grandma, Dad, you both knew about this already? Shangguan Dehui nodded. It was I who invited Chunjun to spend the New Year with us. Otherwise, he would be so lonely all by himself. The Wu family and the Shangguan family were close friends, and besides, Wu Chunjun grew up under the watchful eye of Shangguan Dehui. With the Wu family not at home, it was only natural for them to invite Wu Chunjun over to the Shangguans to celebrate. Shangguan, she turned to An Yang. Yang, did you know about this too? An Yang shook her head. I had no idea. Shangguan Shi, arm in arm with An Yang, said, forget about him. Wu Lao San has always been shameless. Let's go pick roses instead. Wu Chunjun dropped off his big and small gift bags at the Ni family's place and hurriedly followed the two. Hey, where are you going? Take me with you. We girls are going to pick flowers. What would a big guy like you do following us? Shangguan, she looked at Wu Chunjun with disdain. Wu Chunjun said, men and women are already equal. Why can you girls go pick flowers and I can't? That's gender discrimination. The two kept walking and bickering, while An Yang tried her best to minimize her presence and give them space. They reached the rose field, and the two were still non-stop chattering. Normally, Shangguan, she was a very quiet and gentle girl, but she transformed completely when it came to Wu Chunjun. During the process of picking flowers, An Yang found an excuse to head home first. Wu Chunjun looked at An Yang gratefully. An Yang quietly gave him a thumbs up. What are you two whispering about? Shangguan, she turned back to look at An Yang and Wu Chunjun. An Yang smiled and said, we didn't say anything, Sister Xiaoxi. You saw wrong. Is that so? Yes. Wu Chunjun slapped Shangguan Zai's head lightly. You're not old yet, Shangguan Xiaoxi, but why are your ears not working well? As the two kept playing around, An Yang quietly left the rose field. After lunch, Shangguan Su took Wu Chunjun to paste couplets and paper cuts on the windows. The Ni family had many doors and windows, so pasting couplets was a major undertaking. And since their neighbor Ni Chigue had gone to his daughter's house to celebrate the New Year, they also had to paste couplets for his house. An Yang and Shangguan, she took the couplets to Zhao Shuyu's home. On one hand, they were helping the elderly with their spring festival decorations, And on the other hand, they were also fetching Zhao Shuyue to celebrate the new year with them at the Ni family's place. Shangguan, she adored Zhao Shuyu's orange cat, Depang, and didn't forget to hold it in her arms while putting up couplets. Zhao Shuyue watched everything in front of her, suddenly feeling her eyes moisten. There's a saying, on every joyous occasion, one longs for their kin even more. And what's more during the new year? Thankfully, Aniyang still remembered her, the old widow. After finishing with the couplets, Shangguan Shi, holding Depang, and Aniyang, supporting Zhao Shuyue, all headed towards the Ni family's place. If Shangguan Shi and Wu Qinjun were a pair of bickering buddies, then Depang and Duo were another. Duo liked to tease Depang when there was nothing else to do. For example, nipping at Depang's fur when he wasn't looking, and afterwards smugly saying, "Ha ha, silly cat, silly cat." What's more, Duo didn't just bully Depang alone, it also brought other little friends to gang up on Depang. Although Depang was agile, he was no match for Duo. He would meow furiously as if he wished to throttle Duo. "Don't be mad, Depang." And Aiyang reached out and picked up Depang. "One of these days, we'll butcher that little dog and make stewed soup out of him." Duo said, "Murder is a crime." And Aiyang corrected, "You're a bird. I'm your dog's son." Duo said. And Aiyang, Shangguan, she couldn't help but laugh on the side. This Duo is almost too clever for its own good. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1058, New Year's, ruthlessly torturing the scumbag, 18th update, in the evening. The villagers began to worship heaven and earth, burn paper money, and arrange offerings. The sky filled with the sounds of firecrackers, and Wu Qinjun instinctively covered Shangguan Zai's ears. To his surprise, Shangguan she did not refuse. Wu Qinjun covered Shangguan Zai's ears even tighter, a slight curve forming on his lips, truly wishing he could hold on forever like this. Of course, the highlight of New Year's Eve was the reunion dinner and the fireworks. This year, it was the first time for the elderly Mr. Zheng and Mrs. Zheng to spend the festival with the younger generation, and their red envelopes were not small, a thick stack when brought out. All the youngsters, including Wu Qinjun, received the same amount of money, without any favoritism or discrimination. After dinner, they went outside to set off fireworks. This was Shangguan Zai's first time spending New Year in the countryside, and it was an incredible feeling. The festive atmosphere in the countryside was very strong, quite different from the city. Like every year, Gooden led a bunch of kids to the Ni family to watch the fireworks. Yang had prepared lots of sparklers and distributed several to each child. Shangguan she reached out to Yang. Yang, I want some too. Then I want some too. Wu Qinjun followed, stretching out his hand. Holding the sparklers, the two of them ran around and played with a group of kids, the rising smoke blurring everyone's smiling faces. Yang stood aside, looking at this scene, her lips curling up into a smile. Yang. Despite the surrounding laughter, Yang still heard that deep voice. Yang turned her head slightly. She saw a tall figure approaching from the darkness, the burning sparkler in his hand illuminating his chiseled features, with the lights of countless homes becoming the background. "Brother Imo," Yang said, somewhat surprised to see Imo Qishan. Yang, Happy New Year." Yang hugged Imo Qishan tightly. "Happy New Year." After the fireworks, everyone gathered again around the fire. Gooden brought over some sweet potatoes from home, and everyone chatted while eating the steaming baked sweet potatoes. Imo Qishan had also prepared New Year's money for each child and quietly handed out the red envelopes to all the kids. Then he stealthily pulled an extra-large red envelope from his pocket and slipped it into Yang's hand. Yang, this is for you." Yang was somewhat surprised. "I get one too?" "Of course. Yours is the most unique and the biggest." "Thank you, Brother Imo." Yang earnestly tucked the red envelope into her pocket. "I want one too. I want one too." Duo circled above their heads. "Happy New Year. Give me a red envelope." Mo Chishan took out another red envelope and handed it to Duo Duo. Duo Duo was thrilled, hurriedly saying, "Thank you, boss. Thank you, boss," and then flew away with the red envelope. Shangguan Su looked at Shangguan Shi and Wu Qinjun, then at Ni Yang and Mo Chishan, and finally at himself, suddenly feeling a love-struck blow of 10,000 points. It seemed it was time for him to find a girlfriend too. Otherwise, life was just unbearable. On the first day of a new year, Ni Yang, as usual, went hiking with Mo Chishan. They also burnt incense at Niuwang Temple. In Beijing, there is a custom that one should not go out on the second day of the first lunar month. So, on the third day, Ni Yang and Mo Chishan went to pay a New Year visit to the Wang family. Since the Lantern Festival, Wu Yinyun had been waiting at the door every day, waiting for Ni Yang and others to come and pay a visit. She knew that someone from the Ni family would definitely come, because they still wanted to seek her forgiveness. When they arrived, she planned to harshly humiliate them, especially Ni Yang. How dare they come to pay a visit after throwing her away as a child? Ridiculous. But she waited for 3 days, and no one from the Ni family came. Now, Wu Yinyun panicked. Did they really not want her anymore? Had they truly given up on her? But what right did they have to give her up? They had abandoned her once before when they were children. Were they going to do it again? Wu Yinyun bit her teeth tightly, her face full of resentment. In the evening, the Wu family parents returned with Wu Dalong, Wu Erlong, and Wu Xiaolong. Whose house did you go to today? The Wu family were outsiders in Beijing and had few relatives, but today her parents and 3 brothers were not home. Wu Dalong said, "Big sister, you won't be happy if I tell you. Did you go to Nai Yang's house?" Wu Yinyun asked. Wu Dalong was about to speak when Wu Erlong tiptoed and covered Wu Dalong's mouth. A sneer appeared at the corners of Wu Yinyun's mouth. She wasn't a fool. "Why didn't you tell me about going to Nai Yang's house?" "Why?" Wu Erlong sighed. "Big sister, we didn't mean to keep it from you on purpose. We were afraid you'd get angry." Considering the current situation, if they had told Wu Yinyun, she would probably make a scene again. Who wants to be scolded and pointed at during the New Year celebration? It would be like asking for trouble. So the parents of the Wu family didn't tell Wu Yinyun. "Is it because I'm not your real sister that you hide things from me?" Wu Yinyun, her eyes slightly red, questioned Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong. Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong were startled. "It's not like that, big sister, it's not." Wu Yinyun picked up a cup and threw it on the floor. "Do you even consider me a member of this family anymore?" The glass cup shattered to pieces, and the Wu couple, who were bathing Wu Xiaolong in the bathroom, came out, asking with bewilderment, "What's going on?" Wu Yinyun looked at the Wu couple. "Didn't I say we're through with the Ni family? Why did you go to their house behind my back today? Just because I'm not your biological child, you can disregard my feelings like that? Is that it?" Wu Yinyun felt too miserable. She couldn't understand why her family would make her suffer like this during the New Year celebration. "Why?" Yan Erju explained. "It's not like that, shouting. What do you mean to hide it from you on purpose, intentionally? You did it on purpose." Wu Yinyun cried and ran into her room, slamming the door shut. Bang! Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong jumped in fright. Wu Jinshu sighed. This child's temper is really getting bigger and bigger. Lately, Wu Yinyun hadn't spared them from her outbursts. Having heard her cold-hearted words so many times, the Wu couple had grown accustomed to them. At this point, they felt powerless about Wu Yinyun. They couldn't beat or scold her. Even if they said one harsh word, Wu Yinyun would take it as a slight because she wasn't their biological child. Yan Erju helplessly shook her head. "Let it go. She's already 18 this year. Speaking to her won't help, and she'll just get angry if we say too much. What a hassle it is during the New Year." Before long, it was the 8th day of the first lunar month. The 8th day is considered an auspicious day. So many organizations and factories choose to start work on this day. Meanwhile, ever since Ling was laid off, he hadn't found a suitable job. At this time, Chun Lei Bao's father stepped forward and offered to help Ling get a job at his factory. But there was a condition. Ling must marry Chun Lei Bao. Naturally, Ling was unwilling. Who would want to marry a pigsy walking through the door? It wasn't until after the Lantern Festival that Zhuo, still jobless and swayed by the lure of wealth, finally nodded in agreement to marry Chen Liebao. Seeing their son finally come to his senses, Zhuoling's parents were overjoyed and immediately started preparing for the wedding. Both sets of parents agreed on a wedding date set for the 21st of the first lunar month. Zhuoling's parents thought they could finally look forward to a happy life filled with children and grandchildren, but to their surprise, on the third day after the wedding, Chen Liebao changed completely. She not only ordered Zhuoling's parents around, but also turned Zhuoling into a live-in son-in-law. She openly declared her intention to have Zhuoling continue the Chen family lineage. Zhuoling's parents were taken aback. They didn't dare say much, knowing Zhuoling's livelihood was still in their hands. Chen Libao's personality had changed too. How much she used to love Zhuoling. Whatever he wanted, she would give. And now she would slap Zhuoling at the slightest provocation, and if Zhuoling dared talk about divorce, another slap would follow until he submitted. And unfortunately, Zhuoling was no match for Chen Liebao. Moreover, when Chen Liebao lost her temper, she wouldn't spare even Zhuoling's parents. Zhuoling's parents pitied their son, not knowing how many times they had secretly cried behind his back. The new year passed, and it was also time for the schools to start the new term. On the first day of school, Yang naturally had to report to the campus. There were speeches and exams at the start of the school year, so Yang had to stay in the dormitory for a few days. Li Huilan and Zhang Qiuying had already arrived in the dormitory. With the new year came a new spirit, and both of them seemed much more energetic. Yang, my dear, you're finally here. I missed you to death. Zhang Qiuying hugged Yang excitedly. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1059, Yang Yang's Tricks, Actively Pleasing, 19th Update. And Yang smiled and said, "Do you miss me that much?" "Miss you? Of course I miss you. I even dream about you." Zhang Qiuying flattered endlessly, then turned to Li Huilan. "Huilan, do you miss me and Yang?" Li Huilan answered somewhat shyly, I do miss you too. Oh, I brought our local specialty for you, the aromatic pig ham." As she spoke, Li Huilan took out a piece of yellow cured ham from her parcel. Zhang Qiuying looked puzzled. "We don't have a pot in our dorm, and you brought such a big piece of meat. How are we supposed to eat it?" Li Huilan pulled out a knife and cut a piece of ham for Zhang Qiuying. "This is eaten raw. Try it." "Raw meat?" Zhang Qiuying frowned slightly. She really dared not eat it. In their hometown, there was a saying that eating raw pork could cause mad pig disease. Zhang Qiuying waved her hands repeatedly. "Huilan, stop joking. How can you eat raw meat? Aren't you afraid of getting mad pig disease?" Li Huilan smiled and said, "Mad pig disease? No way. Everyone eats it like this back home." Upon finishing her sentence, Li Huilan cut another piece of pork and handed it to Yang. Yang, you try." Yang accepted the slice of ham with a smile. "This ham tastes amazing when eaten raw." Aromatic pig ham is considered a luxury food in later years, with prices soaring into 5 digits per pound. The ham from the 1980s was all natural and free from pollution, making it many times tastier than the exorbitantly priced hams of later years. Seeing Yang enjoying the ham so much, Zhang Qiuying couldn't help but give her a thumbs up. Yang, you're something, daring to eat raw meat." Yang took another piece, and then another. "This is truly a rarity. You can't buy it even if you had the money, Qiuying. Not eating it is your loss." Zhang Qiuying said, I'm not eating. After eating 3 slices of ham, Yang sighed. "If only we had a glass of wine to go with it." It was already 1986, and everyone would be raving about the 87 Lafite wine next year, so Yang planned to buy a batch to store. Zhang Qiuying laughed. Yang, you really know how to enjoy life. Life is all about food and drink," Yang spoke lightly. Li Huilan looked up at Zhang Qiuying. "Qiuying, are you really not going to eat this ham?" Not eating. Zhang Qiuying shook her head like a drum. and Ah Yang shook her head. Ah, some people just don't appreciate good food. Li Huilan picked up the ham and placed it on N.I. Yang's desk. Since Huilan can't enjoy this, Yang Yang, they'll give this piece of ham to you. Take it home and let your family try it. N.I. Yang was taken aback by Li Huilan's generosity. All for me? Huilan, aren't you going to eat it yourself? Li Huilan said nonchalantly, I've been eating it since I was a child, and I'm tired of it. Just take it, and don't be polite. Although the 1980s was a difficult time, there were still wealthy areas. Li Huilan, although born in a rural area, didn't have it as hard as one might think. There was no shortage of meat. However, a large piece of meat like this was still considered very precious for a rural household. But precious as it was, it couldn't compare to the value of friendship. Li Huilan held these two roommates in high regard and was willing to share the best with them. And N.I. Yang was never stingy with them either. Huilan, then I want stand on ceremony. N.I. Yang knew how to conduct herself and was well aware of the subtleties of human relationships. If she were to refuse the ham today, it might make Li Huilan feel uneasy. Sure enough, upon learning that N.I. Yang had accepted the ham, Li Huilan was overjoyed. Yang Yang, if your family likes it, just tell me, and I'll bring you some more next year. N.I. Yang carefully packed the ham away. Huilan, on behalf of my family, thank you. After finishing packing up the ham, N.I. Yang remembered that when she came to school, Tsuewa had picked out a big bag of things for her to bring to the dorm to share with her roommates. I almost forgot. This is what my mom asked me to bring over. You guys go ahead and eat. N.I. Yang had brought some cooked food like sunflower seeds, dried fruit, and braised duck feet and duck head. Zhang Qiuying and Li Huilan enjoyed it immensely. My goodness, this is way too delicious. Yang Yang, where did your family buy this duck head? Zhang Qiuying asked, nibbling on a duck head and speaking unclearly. N.I. Yang said, this duck head was braised by my grandmother and my maternal grandmother. If you like it, they'll bring some more next time. Sure. Zhang Qiuying was thrilled. Li Huilan said, Yang Yang, can you ask at home how this duck head is braised? Next New Year, they'll have my mom try making it. N.I. Yang nodded. They'll write down the braised duck head recipe for you later. Although the recipe for the braised duck head was made by old lady Zheng and her family, the formula was provided by N.I. Yang, who had made her fortune from braised foods in her previous life. I want some too. Qiuying said. They'll have our housekeeper make it when I get back. Okay, you'll write it now. N.I. Yang took out some paper and started writing a detailed preparation plan. Since she wasn't making her fortune from braised foods this time around, it was okay to share the recipe with others. N.I. Yang not only wrote down the ingredients, but also carefully wrote out the preparation process, producing 2 copies of the document, one for each Qiuying and Huilan. Holding the recipe, Qiuying exclaimed, Yang Yang, your handwriting is absolutely amazing. To be able to write beautiful characters, Qiuying had practiced painstakingly for 7 or 8 years. She considered her own handwriting quite beautiful, but in front of N.I. Yang, it seemed child's play. N.I. Yang's face was as beautiful as her handwriting. Truly, the handwriting reflected the person. N.I. Yang smiled and said, I've practiced for many years. Qiuying continued, Yang Yang, not only are you beautiful, but your academic performance is also outstanding, and your handwriting is beautiful too. How are the rest of us supposed to live? In Qiuying's mind, N.I. Yang was an all-capable being. Huilan agreed. Yang Yang, you're even more beautiful than the village belle back home. But our village belle is quite silly. She doesn't even recognize Arabic numerals. In Huilan's view, generally, the less attractive people were not very dumb, and the beautiful ones were not very smart. It wasn't until she met N.I. Yang that she realized how wrong she had been. Just then, as if suddenly remembering something, Qiuying said, Oh, right, Yang Yang, my ice-smooth jade skin is almost finished. Could you help me get another set? Sure, N.I. Yang nodded. Thank you so much, Yang Yang. Qiuying continued. Also, Yang Yang, my mom really likes ice-smooth jade skin too. Could you get an extra set for me? I'll send it back home for her to use. Sure, no problem. N.I. Yang made an okay gesture. I really love you so much, Yang Yang. The effects of ice smooth jade skin were truly incredible, so much so that after the winter holidays ended, Xiaoying had wanted to buy a set at the store herself. But she was in for a shock. The products were in extremely high demand. They were sold out and unavailable. And Yang smiled and said, "You're welcome." Xiaoying then asked, Yang, do you know someone from the Ice Smooth Jade Skin internal team? And Yang nodded, yes. When Wang Lisha walked in pulling her suitcase, she happened to hear this part. Her eyes lit up. Ever since she started using the basic Ice Smooth Jade Skin, her skin had become incredibly smooth, as if she had put on a new layer. She too wanted to try a limited edition set. As Yang was in the dorm today, she saw it as an opportunity to make peace and then ask Yang to help her get a box. With this in mind, Wang Lisha's face broke into a smile as she carried her luggage into the dorm. Oh, Yang, everyone's already here. I thought I'd be the first one. Yang looked at her, somewhat surprised. Wang Lisha had changed quite a bit over the winter break. She remembered how at the beginning of last year, Wang Lisha used to look down on the three of them. Since Wang Lisha had greeted her first, and Yang naturally wouldn't ignore her, we just arrived too. And since my home is in Beijing, it was quite convenient for me to come. Huilan and Xiaoying were used to it, as Wang Lisha's attitude towards them had gradually improved since the second half of last year, even sharing snacks with them proactively. After arranging her luggage, Wang Lisha took out 3 packages of local products from her hometown to share with Yang and the others. This is a specialty from my hometown. I hope you won't mind it. Wang Lisha's home was in Hang City, and the specialty was silk. The packets contained real silk scarves. Holding the silk scarf that Wang Lisha had gifted her, Yang felt almost as if she were floating on air. She felt like she was dreaming. Just then, Wang Lisha continued, Yang, I just heard you say that you know someone from the Ice Smooth Jade Skin internal team, right? Yang nodded, yes. Wang Lisha grabbed Yang's hand. Yang, I was wrong before and I know it. I've apologized to Huilan too. Let's make peace from now on. Could you also help me get a box of the limited edition Ice Smooth Jade Skin? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.